karate man. Double leg. The jump kick. The side kick. The roundhouse. The tie kick. Body.
Hot take. The lady in Minnesota was trying to drive around the ICE agent, but hit him with her car because she's a woman and bad at driving.
And expect for the next 11 months for me to ride you like you've never been ridden.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Hope you're having a wonderful
night. Tonight we have many wonderful funny things to be talking about this Friday evening. My apologies, as I was almost done getting the stream ready, but not quite, just a few seconds behind. Hopefully this is working and coming through all right for all you wonderful gentlemen out there. All right, we've got tragic developments. Unfortunately, learning the identity of the wife of the woman killed in Minneapolis yesterday. Oh, it's gonna be a rough night for some of you guys out there to learn of the tragic accident that has ensued. We have found the identity of the lesbian wife, the remaining wife of the deceased woman, and some of you guys aren't gonna like it, but the truth hurts. Okay, the truth hurts. But before we get to that, Richard, how's your night going, man?
Good. Enjoying the funk.
Yeah, is it good? I can't hear it, but if it's working for you guys.
Oh, it's lovely. It's glorious as always.
Okay, perfect. I specifically requested last week for $10 or on Wednesday. But I start Friday's stream with it. So for $10, I mean, come on, you guys gotta listen to the Giga Chad. Funk. Which is hilarious, but
we shall enjoy the funk.
I think that's probably enough of that. But anything else you want to start us out with, Richard?
Yeah, I did want to touch a little bit on mental health. So, check on the homies, right? Earlier this week, my dog passed away, and I thought I was having a rough day, right? Until I got notification that a local first responder took his own life later that day. He had a wife and 2 kids. You know, it's like nobody knows why, but community's pretty tore up about it. So I say all
Very
that
sorry to hear that,
say,
man.
Yeah. Check
Pray for
on
the family
homies.
involved. Check on the homies. Reach out. Say hello. Ask how's it going. How's it really going? Okay.
100%.
You know,
100%.
there's only so much. It is what it is until you run out sometimes. And sometimes you just need a helping hand, you know, somebody to reach out, somebody to talk to
And
for a minute or two.
I say that to say my DMs are open. A couple of you guys have already reached out to me, and I hope that if nothing else, I've been an ear, right?
Mhm.
So yeah, just reach
Well,
out.
speaking
The
of
Discord's
ears,
out there, so.
if you want to scream into the void, I can put the Discord link in the chat for other autistic retards to talk about. So if you want to talk to other
100%.
people like-minded, not that that's a good thing, but reach out, feel free. All right. Moving into the show for tonight, we got lots of wacky little updates. We'll probably just get into the quick update. The first one being that tragically, we have a newly single widowed Hop, which means that Brassvack's video that he uploaded today was his last video of all time. We didn't realize that was the identity of the lesbian in the vehicle, but it's all starting to make sense. It's funny that it's in Minneapolis and not Portland, but you know, it keeps going. Now, I saw this earlier. They keep trying to dox this brave, heroic ICE soldier who defended his life from the dangerous lesbian utilizing her Honda as a weapon, which I think there does need to be a official probe, which, you know, poor phrasing here, but an official probe into why the lesbian was allowed to drive anything other than a Subaru or even be driving in the first place, right? But I feel like if you're a lesbian,
is a close second to a Subaru.
But I don't know, man. I feel like if you're gonna do it, if you're gonna be the lesbian couple that gets all the coverage nationwide, like, come on, whoever's setting these things up, it has to be a Subaru, okay? It has to be a Subaru. I mean, I don't think we're gonna talk about the ICE agent much at all tonight, but it is funny that it came out that he's like your average white supremacist, right? Your average evil Nazi. Oh yeah, he's got a brown wife, right? He's got a Filipino wife, which is funny. Filipino. Wait, what are Filipinos? What are they? Do Asians count Filipinos as Asians? Because they're brown, but they're not brown. You know what I'm saying? So are Filipinos like their own thing?
From what I gather, the Filipinos are the closest to American Asians that you'll get. Even though they are their own island Asians, they're the most Americanized of the island Asians.
We are the Mexicans of Polynesia. Yeah, because if you're like, if you have Filipino and a Japanese person next to each other, and I'm like, oh, you're both Asian, and they'll look at each other like, no, we're not the same thing. Like, please don't do that. Okay, it's like me and an Irish man. It's like, stop. Or Italians, right? Ugh. Like, stop it. Mentioning us in the same sentence should be illegal, right? Mexicans of Asia, okay.
Yeah, they are.
Jungle monkeys. Okay, all right. Jungle monkey. That's good. That's kosher. That's kosher for stream. Filipinos are notorious wall hitters. Notorious pole hitters, apparently, although the lesbian wasn't Filipino. So, yeah. Mr. Hitler, you're much browner than I expected. Speaking of Hitler, though, it's a great meme from Damn It Jeremy. Great account, which you should follow. Hope you're doing well out there, sir. Yeah. Me mum died in the Hyundai. Me mum died in the Hyundai. True. Tragic. It is funny that her stickers are appropriately in the shape of an L. I never really noticed that, but her stickers are appropriately in the shape of an L on her back window because she did get handed a permanent L.
Does she have a coexist sticker?
She should have an unexist sticker because that's what happened. Let me see. What do we have here? What are we working with? I can't tell. It looks like there's something gay, and then probably a couple other gay things in there. I'm not sure. But realistically, though, now we have the first person footage courtesy of Alpha News. And I've seen the reactions to this clip be so polarizing, as in no two people can agree on what's happening here. Well, realistically, what's happening is normal people or people that have a level of, what's the right word? Open-mindedness, I suppose, right? Look at this and they can kind of see like generally what's going on. But it seems that about 40% of the country either doesn't have the IQ to process what happens in the situation, or is simply lying to you or pretending that they don't understand what happens in this clip, right? And this is from the ICE agent that actually fatally shot the woman in the car, right? So this is his roughly first person, not truly first person, because of course it's mounted to his chest and not his head. So where he's exactly looking, it's not going to be one for one, but this is about as close as we can get to first person footage of what actually happened.
Change our plates every morning. Just
well, it's talking about the stickers. Yeah, it's just normal, like wine mom lesbo posting. Nothing special here.
you know,
Colorado.
it'll be the same plate when you come talk to us later. That's fine. U.S. citizen, former fucking veteran. You want to come at us? You want to come at?
You have, this is the duality of lesbians, right? You have the docile dyke. And guess which one is which? And it's, although the docile one does attempt to murder him here shortly.
At us? I said go get yourself some lunch, big boy. Go ahead.
Out of the car. Get out of the fucking car.
You know, honestly, that looks like Rad's arms. Rad's, I don't know if you're in the chat right now, but that's kind of Rad's arms right there, bro. Rad's with glasses and a beanie, that's Rad's arms. Whereabouts? Alibi? I need answers. Pretty sure that's Rad's arms. So dog in the back, she attempts to get in. The wife, the SO, I mean, calling her a wife is kind of a insult to wifery, right? But SO goes to open up the door. It is locked. Bonk, bonk. Now this is like where things get pretty obvious. So he's walking around the front, videoing her as she's doing her thing, and she's going to make direct eye contact with him. He watches her move it from reverse to drive. She looks back at him and then attempts to run him over. Now, whether or not that was her intent, I can't prove that she was attempting to run him over one way or the other. She could just be a bad driver. Okay. It's very, very plausible, right? But I you know, so intent is impossible to prove. However, what she did objectively is hit him with her car. And if he had not moved out of the way fast enough, he would have gotten run over. Yeah, so right here we can see, slows down a little bit. She's looking right at him, puts it in drive. He sees that, turning the wheel, and she's now moving at him. He's turning sideways. He is hit by the vehicle. And then at some point in here, he shoots 3 rounds, which is crazy that he got off 3 accurate rounds in like less than a second here.
You want to come at us? I said go get yourself some lunch, big boy. Go ahead.
Out of the car. Get out of the fucking car. Get out of the car.
Oh!
Okay, Tia says mistaking the gas pedal and brake shouldn't be a death sentence, but it literally is. It literally is. Like if you're going into stop traffic and you mistake the gas for the brake, it is actually a death sentence.
If
Like,
I'm walking across
if you're
a
about-
crosswalk,
Yeah, it is actually, it's like mistaking that your gun's loaded and pointing it at your temple and pulling the trigger shouldn't be a death sentence. And I'm like, but it is though. It actually can be. This is a life or death scenario here. But no, she makes contact with him, looks at him physically, puts it in drive while staring at him. Now, the ironic thing is if she had waited like 2 seconds and the man just continued to walk on through and she had not hit him, she would have been fine. But again, she physically hit him with the vehicle. Like, I don't know how you get around that fact.
Get out of the fucking car. Get out of the car.
Puts it in drive. Boom. See, I only ever hear two shots, and the people really upset, of course, because he says the explicative there at the end. Listen, temperatures get high, you hit somebody with a vehicle. I think they can call you a name. I think that's fine. I think that's fair. Right. Oh,
That
actually, though,
alone-
I should preface this though. Did you guys see in Portland, a black man went up
Yes.
to unprovoked to another dude, stabbed him. The white man then responded, "That N-word just stabbed me." After the fact, right? It wouldn't matter either way. You should be able to call anybody anything, anytime, for any reason and not get stabbed. But because of that, the jury found the man innocent because post hoc, the man called him a name that he didn't like. So because of that, that retroactively justified him getting stabbed. Because they are more upset with a word than assault, murder, and rape, which of course we know is true, right? Like I can call any of these, abundant murderers of a specific race my favorite little word, and the media would lose their mind, but they're like fine for the most part. It's like, oh, I don't know why these people keep murdering people on buses and trains. That's terrible. But don't you dare use a word I don't like. We'll come after you for that one.
Big boy. Go ahead.
Out of the car. Get out of the fucking car. Get out of the
All right,
car.
so you know what?
Yep. Yep. People are really upset that he said that after the fact. I feel like if you don't get that, it's kind of on you. You're either purposely being obtuse, lying, or retarded, right? You guys can take your pick on which one. On which one that might be. Here, let me pull this one up real fast. Because there's lots of people like this, pretending that like what you just saw isn't what you just saw. Plus, I mean, this is like the fourth angle of the car that we've seen. Well, let me see. I think, was it Ben that has a good response to it? I think Ben does. No, not Ben Shapiro. Please. Here we go.
That's a good one. I stabbed him because I knew he was going to call me that word after I stabbed him.
Yeah. You look like the type of guy that would stab me. Well, this is a good one. So this is, I don't know who this is. Luke Beasley says, "Wow, wait, how? She literally says, 'I'm not mad at you.'" Yeah, you got Ben just responds. You got to watch the whole video, champ. If you can say you're not mad, but as soon as you hit me with a vehicle, like, situation has changed a little bit. All right. Situation is slightly different. And there's lots of these people that are like, wow, this is clear cut murder. Absolutely insane. Here's
Like
another
clear-cut
one.
Attempted murder.
Well, yeah. Renee Good's last words to the ICE agent that killed her. "That's fine, dude. I'm not mad at you." The ICE agent's final words after killing her: "Effing bitch," right? Which is, I feel like you're missing some context here. I feel like you're lying, Adam of Adam Media. I feel like there's something in between these two sentences, these two statements that might be a determining factor here, right? And again, Ben responds, "Yeah, the interaction took a turn somewhere in the middle there, didn't it?" Like something happened there in the middle that you're just leaving out, Adam. Could it be when she hit him with her vehicle?
Yeah, something took a turn. The wheels from left to right.
Yeah, right, into him and then into a telephone pole. So, I mean, yeah. Now, in response to this, today, just as of a few hours ago, they're sending a additional 1,000 ICE agents into Minneapolis, which makes it 3,000 additional agents in the last week. Now, before I get hit with copyright from Warner Bros., great scene, by the way. This to me seems like more escalation, right? Because we've seen some additional rioting, not to the level that we saw of George Floyd, Freudian slip there. But we got George Floyd, or Good Floyd, because their last name is Good, right? But I feel like this is going to lead to some sort of escalation because now you're going to have even more of an ICE presence. You're going to have even more of anti-ICE protests. And, I think the stage is set for possible escalation. Not saying it's necessary, but I think that there is a higher chance of a possible escalation of something else like this happening in Minneapolis. Last night, actually, I'm probably going to skip ahead to this story. Well, I'm going to do this one next, actually, but we are going to get to some fun gun news in the middle. I know gun news, so boring on a gun channel, but we will have some. But there was also a shooting of 2 gang members in another officer-involved incident in Portland yesterday, which we'll take a look at that in just a second. But this is Philadelphia Sheriff Rochelle Bilal calls ICE agents fake law enforcement. This woman here is calling ICE agents enforcing the law fake law enforcement and says she will arrest them for enforcing federal immigration law. I'm going to go out on a limb here. If she was going out on a limb, it would have to be a quite substantial limb. But I'm going to go out on a limb here and say that she is not going to be doing any arresting at all. And I love it when our best and brightest, our finest, are talking in hood eubonics. Nah, you don't want this smoke. I didn't do that. Richard, give me a bad rap.
Good afternoon. I'm Rochelle Bilal, the sheriff for the city and county of Philadelphia. And I say,
What is
what?
up with the gentleman behind her?
Which one?
The one who looks like he's not very pleased to be there. The expression of face, the white one.
The white one. Not sure. Philadelphia? Excuse me?
good afternoon. I'm Rochelle Bilal, the sheriff for the city and county of Philadelphia. And I say her name, Renee Good.
What?
Renee Good. Renee Good. Renee Good. This should not have happened, but we're here today.
It almost sounds like
women dodging
saying,
accountability, challenge impossible. Women dodging bullets, also impossible.
Let know that law enforcement professionals, real ones, not the fake made up ICE, probably Trump's new army to attack citizens of the United States.
That's right. Trump's personal Gestapo. That's right. Above the law enforcement. His own personal army to checks notes, deport gang members. Oh.
Did you hear what I said? No law enforcement professional wears a mask. None. Those that come into our communities wearing a mask to commit crime, thank God for our district attorney, Larry Krasner, who said he's going to lock them up. And I'm saying now, we are not going to whisk you away for them to hide your identity, because when you do it there, you're getting arrested there. No whisk away for them to hide you. None of that here. None of that here.
How did you end up being the sheriff for Philadelphia? Or sorry, Philadelphia? However she pronounces it, Philadelphia. We were sheriffs and shit.
Law enforcement professionals do not shoot at moving vehicles. I'm not saying flee.
Citation needed. What are you talking about? What if they're moving towards you or moving towards someone else? Yes, you do in fact shoot at moving vehicles sometimes. It's rare, I would imagine. But yeah, I think shooting at moving vehicles is probably one of the better times to shoot at vehicles.
If you want to know how she got elected, in 2019, the people of Philadelphia, Philadelphia elected the first African-American woman sheriff, Rochelle Bilal, in 181 years since the office's existence.
Wait, you say 2019?
Yes, in 2019, the people of Philadelphia.
She's been for 7 years now?
Yep, even through 2020. So I bet if you go back in time, you can find pictures of her wearing a mask, addressing the public. Probably
Yeah,
even
actually,
advocating
that's
for her
very funny.
officers
Or
to wear
enforcing
masks.
masks as well, or
Correct.
enforcing curfews, or closing down parks, or putting sand inside of skate parks so that people can't go outside and enjoy their time. Yeah, this woman. All right, all right.
Because she wasn't fleeing. She was getting out of the way.
Yes, she was spinning her tires, not to flee, but to get out of that ICE agent on her hood wasn't because she was attempting to flee. It was because she was trying to get away from the ICE agent. She just had to move towards him at a high velocity.
She was trying to get away from the
Law
moment to get
enforcement
out of the car.
professionals do not stand in front of moving vehicles, invoking an action.
When he was standing there, it wasn't moving. It started moving after he was in front of it.
That is illegal. No, we don't. And so we stand here today with all those who stand against the made-up, fake, what you can call ICE, professional law enforcement. I don't call them none of that. I call them made-up, fake, wannabe law enforcement. Because what they do is against not only legal law, but the moral law. So I'm with the DA, and we will work with them. If any of them want to come in this city and commit a crime, you will not be able to hide. Nobody will wish you off. You don't want this smoke, because we will bring it.
You don't want this smoke. We will protect 68 IQ Somalians who are stealing your wealth, your children's future, ruining the healthcare system, stealing all the money from literally anything that they touch, ruining the housing market, making your streets unsafe at night. We will protect those people over, the people trying to enforce little pesky things like immigration law or stuff like that. None of that here. None of that here, please.
To you. And the fake, whatever they call them, because I can't say the name, but the criminal in the White House would not be able to keep you from going to jail.
I'm not going to watch the rest of this, dude. Top law enforcement agent for Philadelphia, city of brotherly love. Now another one, another. This is actually kind of tragic. Try to understand this, then realize that Kaysay Jama was born to nomads in Somalia, moved to America, and then helped other Somalis enter America. Of course, he doesn't want ICE in Oregon. They are running the same scams, that Minnesota is. Fraud is everywhere. I'm just going to say that there weren't any Kaysay Jamas in the Revolutionary War, the Civil War. Probably not many in World War I. Probably not many in World War II. I'm just going to say that, I don't think that they were integral to the founding or the foundation or the blood or genetic code of this country. But they do have funny clips. They do make for funny clips.
Let me say to this to the federal agencies and ICE.
He's loading. He's powering up, all right. Full sentences powering up any moment now.
Let me say to this to the federal agencies and ICE.
Dude, they don't even know when this guy was born.
True. He doesn't know when he was born.
Oregon, we do not need you. You're not welcome. And you need to get the hell out of our community. Let me say to this to the
so pathetic,
federal
dude.
agencies and ICE. This is Oregon. We do not need you. You're not welcome. And you need to get the hell out of our community.
It's like one person golf clapping this guy as he stumbles through one complete paragraph, right? It's like, okay, the pauses are insane. And it's obvious that English is not his first language because he's not English. He's not American. He's not from here. He has no interest in you or your values. Somebody who can't even pronounce Oregon, being a elected official there and doing what's best for Oregonians, allegedly, when in reality what he does is what's best for Somalians and helps more Somalians come in and commit more fraud, right? he protects his own because you're not his people. His people are Somalians. And Oregonians are one of the few people, well, more than a few people, but one of the large areas of people who will allow that sort of thing to go unchecked. But we have even more. The reason for that original clip there, that clip that we just watched from Portland, and the Somalian there pretending to be American and telling ICE to get out, is because, of course, why? Because checks notes ICE detained 2 Venezuelan gang members. You want them gone for detaining gang members? Odd that you're protecting Venezuelan gang members.
Local and federal sources tell ABC News that federal agents shot 2 people in Portland, Oregon. We're learning that the circumstances right now are a little unclear, but the FBI is responding. The agents who shot, we're told, are with U.S. Customs and Border Protection. The FBI will be investigating and lead as the lead agency. I want to bring in ABC News' Alex Stone, who is tracking the developments here. And Alex, I recognize that a lot of this is still very, very fluid. But what can you tell us so far?
Yeah, generally, what we know at this point, Alex, is a short time ago, and the FBI is responding right now that they will be the ones investigating this, that it was a shooting involving federal agents from U.S. Customs and Border Protection, not ICE, in the Portland area.
Locally, all right, Luke, ICE, DHS, CBP, whatever, dude. Whatever, all right. It's all the same to me. It's people doing the Lord's work, okay?
Area, and that there was a man and a woman, we're told, who were shot. They are being transported right now. There was a city council meeting that was going on for the Portland.
Oh, yeah. It looks as the perp was involved in a shooting just 6 months ago and was a known TDA trafficker and drug dealer. No, we're going to get into it. I have the full article. They were involved in prostitution rings, drug rings, all the fun stuff. And they had orders to deport. And now this guy is up there like, you know what? You ICE agents, you need to go. You need to get the hell out of Oregon. Oregon, please go. No one wants you here. All right, dog.
Portland City Council, they have abruptly ended that or put that on hold right now. This is all unfolding at this point, but a shooting has occurred, Alex.
Yeah, so we have the full article. This is from Homeland Security at 2:19 PST. U.S. Border Patrol agents were conducting a targeted vehicle stop in Portland, Oregon. The passenger of the vehicle and target is a Venezuelan illegal affiliated with the transnational Tren de Aragua prostitution ring and involved in a recent shooting in Portland. The vehicle driver is believed to be a member of the vicious Venezuelan gang Tren de Aragua. When agents identified themselves to the vehicle occupants, the driver weaponized his vehicle and attempted to run over the law enforcement agencies. That's very similar. Fearing for his life and safety, an agent fired a singular defensive shot. The driver drove off with the passenger fleeing the scene. The situation is evolving and more information is forthcoming. Fortunately, more information has come forward. So Homeland Security IDs the 2 people shot by Border Patrol in Portland. U.S. Department of Homeland Security identified the 2 people shot Thursday by Border Patrol in Portland during a traffic stop. The driver of the vehicle, Luis David Nino Moncado, DHS said in a post on the social media site X, he is from Venezuela and a suspected Tren de Aragua gang member. The passenger in the car, Yorlenis Betzabeth Zambrano Contreras, also from Venezuela and also associated with Tren de Araguas. Portland police officials said Thursday that the federal authorities had not shared information with them about the people who were shot and that they had no access to any possible recordings of the shooting. So they could not verify any of the federal government statements. Asked whether Tren de Aragua was active in Portland, Portland Police Chief Bob Day said Thursday, I don't have any information and that would link that at this time. No. Well, you are the Portland Police Chief, and these people are already known to you. So, maybe you should do a better job. Moncado entered the U.S. illegally in 2022 and was subsequently released, then arrested for driving under the influence and unauthorized use of a vehicle. He has a final order of removal. Zambrano Contreras illegally entered the U.S. in 2023, and the agency alleged that he has played an active role in a Tren de Aragua prostitution ring and was involved in a prior shooting in Portland. So again, this is almost 3 years ago now at this point, and the Portland police chief, Bob Day, is like, I don't know, maybe. How am I supposed to know? I'm just the police chief here. Portland police says it has nothing to share right now in response to questions about DHS statements Friday. At least one Border Patrol agent shot the two suspected gang associates Thursday after the driver allegedly tried to use his car as a weapon, the agency said in a social media post Friday. The shooting came one day after a federal agent fatally shot a woman in Minneapolis who was also accused of using her car as a weapon. Video of that incident, blah, 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 blah. 215 medical clinic parking lot near the Adventist Health Hospital in southeast Portland. The man was wounded in the arm or leg and the woman in the chest. Oh, so he did fire multiple shots in, so not one round. According to dispatch audio. Good.
Did we get confirmation that it was more than one round, or did the round go through the guy's arm and into her abdomen?
I have no idea. It's possible. Whatever. We don't have confirmation on that yet, and the Portland's not talking. DHS did not immediately respond to a request for information about the two individuals' current condition. So nobody dead in this one. They are at least allegedly still alive. But yeah, that is our ICE, Border Patrol, DHS roundup for Friday evening as things are warming up, as the kids say. Now, other things that are warming up. You guys might know it's January 9th now at this point. The month is absolutely flying by. And, well, we've had free tax stamps for about 10 days for suppressors and SBRs. Sales are through the roof. People are very, very busy. Things are hard to keep in stock, which is good. Good for the U.S. gun market needs something to keep it going. And free tax stamps on suppressors and SBRs aren't hurting anything for the most part. But something that we theorized might happen as a response to free tax stamps is, well, not that thing. So Virginia today, or within the last couple of days, has put forth a proposition to add a tax stamp, a additional tax of all firearm suppressors of $500. So, you know, kind of like we theorized, if the tax stamp can be removed federally, right, down to zero, well, then it can be federally raised to something else should Democrats take power over the next few years. And now states are taking it upon themselves to say, well, you can still own them, but we're just going to add an excise tax on top of them, right? So this is House Bill 207, January 7th, 2026. Patron Gamara Keys, or Keys Gamara. A very Star Wars sounding name, not very American sounding, if you ask me.
Can you zoom in a little?
Say again?
Can you zoom in a little?
Can. I was about to read it off, so I mean. All right. So firearm suppressor means any device or combination of parts designed to silence, muffle, or diminish the report of a firearm. Law enforcement officer means the same as defined in 901. In addition to all other taxes and fees of every kind now imposed by law, beginning July 1st, 2026, an excise tax is hereby imposed upon dealers in firearms at the rate of $500 per retail sale in the Commonwealth of any firearm suppressor. No discount under 58.1-622 shall be allowed for the fee imposed under this chapter. The tax imposed by this chapter shall not apply to the retail sale of any firearm suppressor to any federal, state, or local agency or to a law enforcement officer for use in the normal course of his employment. So, of course, police officers are exempt from this, right? So if you're a cop, you can still go buy a suppressor without a $500 additional tax thrown on top, of course, because they do want the police officers' backing of a lot of these bills. The only time you ever see a police officer union come out against one of these bills is if they don't carve out a specific law enforcement exemption, because they're like, listen, you citizens, screw you guys. You guys are like unimportant. You guys are worthless. All right. As long as my guys, as long as the law enforcement agencies get a pass on these bills and these restrictions, we will back them and enforce them and love them very much. Thank you for not, step on the citizens all you want. Just don't do it to us. All right. Which I do hate. I hate even the idea of a law enforcement cutout for citizen restrictions. I think that violates the very intent of America at its core.
Yeah, I think that's a direct violation of everything that the Second Amendment stands for.
Yeah. But it's Virginia. Virginia, very left, very liberal. $500 tax is not as bad as it could be, but it's still horrifying. I mean, for a lot of your budget end suppressors, that's literally doubling the cost of getting into suppressor ownership. You're also funding your tyrannical government with each purchase of a suppressor. $500 is pretty crazy. Although, to be fair, I'm surprised that we haven't seen more of this of late in response to the $0 tax stamps. So I'm surprised states aren't putting in their own tax requirements, even if it's just $100 or like $50 or $200, right? So rather than the government, the federal government getting that money, your state government gets it, right? So I mean, I'm surprised states aren't chomping at the bit here to take away some of that, some of that cash from the hardworking citizens. All right. Yeah. So if you live in Virginia, it might be time to get a move on. Now, in other firearm law news, we have just a quick update for Lawrence DeMonico and Rare Breed Triggers going after yet another person, but they have filed for a injunction, and we'll go over exactly what they're looking to get because we do fortunately have the filing here, and this is against Hoffman Tactical. So a little bit of a preface just to get everybody up to speed, right? So Rare Breed, they sided with the ATF. They did a deal with the ATF to enforce their patent law on everybody. So Rare Breed has agreement with the ATF, so the ATF doesn't go after Rare Breed for their FRT devices. In return, Rare Breed has to very strictly go after everybody else that they even claim violates their patent, whether or not they actually do. So Lawrence DeMonico is the de facto legal arm of the ATF when it comes to FRT enforcement. So he is going after everybody, 3, 4, 5 companies at this point, suing them, cease and desist. Here, he's actually suing Hoffman, and he's filed for a injunction. And we'll go over that here. So this is ABC IP LLC, Rare Breed Triggers against Timothy Hoffman and Hoffman Tactical LLC. We're going to go ahead and skip the scope, and we'll get into the conclusion and the prayer for relief. This is like what they want to happen, right? So I'm not going to go through their 4-step plan of how they believe that Hoffman has violated their patent willfully and continuously. Their claim, not mine. But this prayer for relief, this is what they actually want the judge to side with them immediately, okay? Because if the judge basically looks at the evidence and without having to push any further, if it's so overwhelmingly in Rare Breed's side, then he can, process the injunction and get all of this stuff basically put in place. So prayer for relief. Wherefore, plaintiffs, which is Rare Breed in this case, respectfully request that this court enter a preliminary injunction enjoining defendants and their principals, agents, attorneys, servants, affiliates, blah, 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 including, but not limited to the following activities. This is for Hoffman. Refrain from making, using, selling, offering for sale, or importing any of the accused infringing devices, whether for the purpose of use or offering such products for sale, whether by retail, through distributors, or wholesale. Remove the super safety infringing devices for free download on Odyssey.com, as well as any other platform for downloads by consumers. So they don't even want their files being online. Now, that's very silly, of course, because as soon as the file is out there in any way, shape, or form, it's out there permanently forever, right? So sure, you can remove a download link on Odyssey, and I kind of that's what Odyssey has become, but it's out there. It's out there forever. Refrain from posting any of the infringing designs in the form of 3D print files, step files, or development packs on any platform in the future. Refrain from sending any of the infringing designs in the form of 3D print files, step files, step packs, either physically or electronically to any third party. So they don't want them sending any of their files to anyone for any reason. Refrain from licensing or attempting to license any third party for the purpose of selling, offering for sale, importing, distributing, promoting the infringing devices and infringing designs. So no licensing, no files, no devices for you whatsoever. And again, they're trying to make the claims for the infringing devices, for the patent violations, as wide as possible to essentially get Hoffman to completely back away from the business, right? And they're going to go after everybody in the exact same way. Whether or not they can actually win is a totally different story. I'm not a lawyer. This is not legal advice. If you take legal advice from me, you're stealing. I think that was CRS's quote, which is actually a very good quote. But yeah, in the process, you're going to spend hundreds of thousands of dollars fighting this. And even if you do end up winning, it doesn't mean that ABC, AP, LLC, and Lawrence DeMonico that we see here are not going to go up against you at some point in the future. Now, we are coming up to SHOT Show very shortly. We have, 11 days till the first day of SHOT Show. I would not be shocked if Lawrence was at SHOT Show handing out papers. I would not be shocked at all if he was there at the biggest event of the year with the most people, handing out cease and desist, passing them out like they're candy to anyone who he feels has wronged him and his company. And again, he is essentially the de facto legal arm for the ATF when it comes to FRTs.
Can we bet on Polymarkets to see if Lawrence will be at SHOT Show?
Yeah, well, we should be able to. That would actually be good. Yeah. What's the over under on Lawrence being at SHOT Show handing out C&Ds? I'll take that
This is
bet.
totally not financial
It's good money.
advice.
That's
But
good money.
Word on the street is Dan Crenshaw's even down.
Well, Helix says, what happens in 20 years when the patent expires? That's kind of the point, man. In the interim, they're worried about, enforcement or whatnot. Give it a couple years, and if Democrats are back in power, you get some liberal judges in the Supreme Court, right? They can make laws whatever they want, right?
So
Whatever they want.
here's
They're
my
worried about the
theory.
here and now, though. Go for it.
The patent will never expire because Lawrence won't let it expire because he will continue to tweak the design and update the patent, just like what they do with the pharmaceutical industry. They tweak the compound slightly, reintroduce the medication, and then their patent continues to go on for another 20 years.
Of course. All right. Well, yeah. Does this dude own a smaller shirt? Roid Rage at SHOT? No, he looked for a smaller shirt. Couldn't find one. This is the only one. This is the smallest one on the market.
This is
right?
the smaller shirt.
Yeah. All right.
He had
well,
it custom made.
Man. This image here, dude. I find this whole debacle very funny. Once again, dude, we're talking about Tacticon armament. He who laughs last laughs best. I like to think that I'm at least partially responsible, at least in a moral theoretical sense, for some of the happenings over there at Tacticon. All right, but we got this dude here, the face of Tacticon, the pained expression of Tacticon, of the dump of Tacticon as it slowly circles the drain and loses every friend they ever had, and everybody comes out and is now stabbing him in the back while he's down. He's got personal problems, he's got financial problems, and your closest allies, the ones you dragged along for years, are now chipping you directly in the back, leading to this pained expression on your face here and now. Because the Sandalorian has come out with some very interesting cope. Very interesting. Let's see here. This is from the Sandalorian. You guys know him from some of his wonderful shorts. That's a contradiction in terms, but some of his wonderful Tacticon shorts. Let me see if I can find one real fast. Let's see. Tacticon. Just so you guys know, okay? Here he is. Here's the man. The Sandalorian. He does silly stuff with guns sometimes. All sorts of silly little moves. I'm not sure who they got working on for him now because the team is very limited. He's spinning stuff. Can't show that on YouTube lives, unfortunately. But you get it, all right? He worked with them for a long time. Famously was on a stream with myself, the owner, and Tackett, I want to say. Also a crazy man with a wacky story, which we can get into. Sandalorian, I've remained silent to maintain professionalism despite slander from involved parties. I feel the time has come to address this publicly. I formerly worked for Tacticon Armament. My departure stemmed from workplace abuse repeated lies, manipulation, fundamental disagreements with direction, unwillingness to tolerate intellectual property theft, and prolonged financial entrapment. Now, some of this is true. However, I mean, you did tolerate the intellectual property theft for quite some time until the money stopped coming in. Well, because I mean, when the money was good, there weren't problems with the intellectual property theft. When the money was good, you were fine with the products you were selling, right? You publicly defended the products you were selling. Leaving was excruciating as it risked homelessness for me and my pregnant wife. Now, that is, of course, always tough to be in a financial bind like that, where you're working a job week to week, month to month. You got a wife and a kid on the way. Very difficult to get up and move and change professions. I've been in that situation before. The owner is a liar and manipulator who threatened my pregnant wife. Like threatened her financially with your termination, or actually threatened her? Because, you know, Sandalorian, I feel like if he actually threatened your pregnant wife, there's legal recourse for that for you. And the fact that you took the high road and just didn't mention that, again, it just seems odd. And threatened to shoot my business partner. Again, if it's the business partner I'm thinking of, it's a very crazy person and has threatened to shoot himself on multiple occasions. So I think all parties involved can be terrible people here, to be clear. Those unfamiliar with narcissistic sociopaths, psychopaths may not be familiar with their tactics and behaviors, but I am. During my tenure, I tried to ensure that people had a good experiences with the products with generous return policies and warranties, and by allowing returns even on heavily used products. Unfortunately, this is no longer the case. Now, this is like, nice in theory. If I take you at your best, that's very nice in theory. However, it also just kind of sounds like maybe a little bit of cope because you knew you were selling the worst possible garbage at the highest possible margins, right? Lowest quality garbage, highest possible margins. Maybe it's just some your internal monologue saying, hey, Sandalorian, I think this is wrong. I consistently pushed shifting production to America and eliminating direct clone products, facing constant resistance. Ethically, cloning did not align with my values, as I consistently emphasized more training over more purchases. Now, that's fine. If that's what you're trying to do, you're trying to steer the ship from within. Some people do that. However, again, I remember you directly defending these products on a live stream with me, right? And I was the antagonist in this situation, and you were defending them, defending the stuff that you bought, that you were pushing on other people. Sorry, you didn't buy them. Of course not. There are many people that I've met that have thanked me personally for helping them be able to get into training with limited budgets. And I'm happy that they could. The products were never supposed to beat out Aimpoint or Cry, or even HoloSun or SIG or anything, really, because again, it was low quality garbage. Just straight up ripoffs 99% of the time. Absolute AliExpress level garbage. They were supposed to allow someone on a tight budget an ability to get into training with little to no money. Right, while maximizing profits for Tacticon, not to mention the other business practices that they were involved in. Unfortunately, I no longer use or promote the gear due to my contempt for the owner and the quality of the gear. A sentiment shared by my former coworkers who are still awaiting payment after bounced checks with no communication, and they will get their money still as far as I'm aware. We've covered this before on the show, but yeah, allegedly there are many, many employees who do not have months worth of pay, that were promised pay, that were given checks that then later bounce, and they don't have any recourse. Some of them have been kept around saying they'll get their money eventually, but only if they keep working, which is, financial entrapment. And none of it's actually happening because the owner is having massive issues, right? All right. Youth. Now, this is the biggest cope, right? Youth and naivety led me to endure lies. I'm pretty sure you're older than I am. And it wasn't that long ago that we were debating your products.
Yeah, Prosex.
So using being a child, like, I was just so silly. I was just so silly defending. You know, I just didn't know anything. I just didn't know anything at the time. I was 30 years old, by the way. I was like, I mean,
Youth
at some
and
point, like you can't be a kid anymore, right? You're like, if you're 16, 17, right? You're working for a bad company, you make some mistakes, like, sure, whatever. If you're 22, sure, 25, you know, you're 25. You're 30, bro? Really, Unk? Really, Unk? Naive youth and naivety? Right, Unk? All right. It's just a kid.
I'm gonna guess
this,
that it was
this is very woman coded. It's like, all right, I'm 36. I've had my fun. I'm ready to settle down now. It's like, settle down. Life is half over. Are you kidding me? You're in the downhill stretch. This is very woman coded. Yeah, okay, all right. Every 30-year-old out there screaming, 30 is young. It's so young, dude. Life is half over, okay? If you're not looking to rock and roll in your 30s, your 40s and 50s aren't looking too great, homie. Yeah.
I
All
don't
right.
think it was the youth and naivety. I'm gonna guess
It was
that
the money, right? Because
it was the money.
here's the thing. When the money was good, you defended the products. When the money was bad, you stopped defending the products. In fact, you asked for more money from Tacticon to stick around. He told you no, and then you left. Very important thing that was left out there. You asked for more money. You wanted more of Tacticon's money. They told you no, and you moved on. So you wanted to stay. At least on some level, you just wanted more money. You wanted more money to push the exact same garbage. Which is why, again, I don't believe this youth and naivety argument at all. Hoping for positive change while being overworked, underpaid, and abused. I feel ashamed and embarrassed that I was involved and stuck there for so long, but through the process, I learned. Again, this is like some woman who got a DUI and is like talking about how much she's learned going through rehab and doing community service. It's like, it's that meme in The Office where Ryan is like, you know, I've really grown closer to my community by getting into community service. And then whoever it is, like Pam or somebody, is like, wasn't that ordered by a judge? Yeah, it's not the same thing. It's not the same thing. Those who have seen the old videos witnessed my growing depression. The environment was destructive and was slowly killing me. Sadly, the company has effectively collapsed, leaving numerous victims in its wake. This part I agree. Yeah, because there are lots of people that, again, you helped push. You did. You helped push these products. You helped get them into the ecosystem. You helped push the 2A for all multi-level marketing thing that was going on. All right? You did. Your responsibility. And it is sad that they collapsed and got left holding the bag, right? Thank you to those who stand by me and my family with continued support and understanding, which most people seem to be relatively understanding in this whole debacle, right? Most people. But I'm not most people, you know? And I just remember you being part of skits like this, which were all so funny.
It is a very flat shooting gun. So this
I was just watching some Grantham.
What do you mean? Dude, it's still Pride Month.
Seriously?
Yeah, it's a whole month.
Okay.
Is going to be the thing that lets you hit stuff. Do not skimp on your optics. Do not skimp on your iron sights.
Do you mind?
You don't have to go out there and spend $1,000.
Okay.
Isn't that so funny? Isn't that so funny where you're like, it's Pride Month. I'm going to jack off to Lucas Botkin. Isn't it funny how gay Lucas is? I'm going to jack off to him. Isn't this funny? This is like heckin' satirical. All right. Yeah, I just responded to it. I don't know about this one. I don't know if you're being true here. I don't know if I believe you. All right, press X it out a little bit. I don't know about this one. Using youth and naivety to sidestep accountability for the trash you pushed and defended on my show. Important note. When I'm pretty sure you are my senior. Also, it's more likely that they were all part of the problem to some extent. Yeah. I don't put the blame fully on any of them, of course, but I think that it's much more likely than not that to some level, they're all complicit, right? You weren't an 18-year-old. You weren't a 21-year-old female with 41 IQ floating around up there with which to shovel together an argument. All right. You're a man. You got to take responsibility for your own actions.
You weren't a 37-year-old female driving a Honda Pilot.
Article 15 humor for people, for guys that almost joined. Dude, I almost joined. I would have served. You know, when I get mad, I just see red. All right. I just see red. Okay. I get so angry, you know. If I had a drill instructor yell at me, I'd punch him in the face. All right. And yeah, so that is the continued saga of Tacticon, the continued sagging of the Tactical Con. And it's soon to be over. Now, the Sandalorian, he'll be fine. All right. He's got talent. He's funny. He's personable. He'll keep going on to do things. Not good or great things, maybe, but he'll be doing things, you know, for sure in the industry. But, you know, I'll be here too, just keeping tabs. All right. Just watching, just sitting back there. Just me and you. We know. All right. All right. Boogie Down Syndrome for 5 says, gonna miss this one. I'm sinning with someone's daughter. Really need focus to say it. Well, Boogie with Down syndrome, if you know that it's sinning with someone's daughter and you admit to doing it anyways, that's Catholic Church would call that a mortal sin, Boogie. So I would recommend against that. I would recommend getting married and finding a priest for confession. Thank you, Boogie. Lightsport for 5 says, rip Brass, hop made him go to Minnesota and drive towards that ICE agent. It's tragic, man. It is tragic what gay lesbian love will do to a man. Thank you, Lightsport. Dildo Faggins for 2 says, where my N-words at? Listen, we're all here. We're all here, homie. Thank you, Dildo Faggins.
Sham Wow guy?
Dude, I hope it looks like it.
I think that's the Sham Wow guy. That's
Sabardic Psycho for 10 gives me the heart emoji, the kissy emoji, high five, and heart face emoji. Thank you for that. Thank you. It's very nice, Sabardic. Usually it's much more aggressive. Amrai Boy for 2 says, later and gayer than the population of Tel Aviv. True. Gay capital of the world, by the way, Tel Aviv. Also the pedophile capital of the world. Vandalay for 5 says, can someone better than me with AI make Candace say, you don't get to hide those piggies? What's wrong with you, Jake? Why are you so scared? That's good. Somebody do that, please. I'll pay you $50 if somebody does that. All right.
You don't get to ask those questions. What's wrong with you, Mom? Why are you so scared?
Yeah, just $50 to the first person that makes that. Okay. On my desk, $50 bounty. The Lightsport, remember, for 3 months. Not Arctic Monkey remix. You got soft hands, boy. I just got done working a 28-hour shift at the coal mine. It's true. Had to walk uphill in the snow both ways. Thank you, Lightsport. Appreciate you, sir. Chud for 2 says, George Floyd was Hop's wife all along. Pray for Brass. Yeah, maybe that's the real tragedy, is that the thruple or the polycule is now missing a member, missing a core member of the polycule. Thank you, Chud. Appreciate you, sir. Lightsport for another 2 says, we're Asian. Don't call me a brown. It's like, yeah, but some Asians are more brown than others, right? Like, that's just fact, okay? If you're Vietnamese, all right, you're a little darker than like a Korean guy or like a Chinese guy, right? A dark yellow. Just some Space Cowboy for 5 says, woman driver, do you really need to specify bad driver? I mean, it just kind of goes with the territory, kind of comes with the territory. Maybe that's poor phrasing, but it happens.
Redundancies are always great.
Thank you, Space Cowboy. Slimy Chud for 2 says he's not the shooter. Trying to say he's not the father. Let me see here. Hop's always the shooter and the father, most likely. But dude, I love this clip. I don't know in what context this retard thought this would be appropriate, but I still find it very funny.
And expect for the next 11 months for me to ride you like you've never been ridden.
Is that just Garanthem at Ram Ranch to his new stable of horses? Sorry. Thank you, Slimy Chud. TK's Tiny Peen for 5 says, most agencies are taught that shooting at the driver while you're standing in front doesn't stop the vehicle from coming at you. Very true. Very true. Yeah. I think the guy got caught the guy made a tactical mistake, right? Not hurrying across the front of the car, not getting out of the way in time. However, he still is justified, at least in my interpretation of the events, in self-defense because she did physically hit him in no regard for his life at all with her vehicle, right? So even if he made a mistake and there's compounding errors, I think he is still justified in the shoot. TK's Tiny Peen for 5. Oh yeah, we just read that. Thank you. Polly B for 5 says a black woman is speaking. That's right. Listen and learn. Chud for 2 says she looks like an ogre. Richard Gassy. Yeah. Something about these officials just doesn't sit right with me. Like, I don't know.
If you'd like to do a little bit of a deeper dive, I dropped a link in side chat about her.
Well, Richard, there's a cost benefit analysis that goes on here. We're an hour in. I've got over 20 super chats to read right now, not including like another 10 stories. So, thank you, Chud. Appreciate you, sir. Paul for 5 says a black bulb is speaking. Clicks. Thank you, Polly. Carver for 2 says deep dive into ice versus windshield ballistic tests. Yeah, most windshields don't stop 9mm. Shocker. It might deflect a little bit. It might change its, point of impact, but it ain't going to stop it.
I believe it was IB88, Eric, who did a very good video about bullet deflection and windshields with ballistic gel.
Oh, really?
Shooting different calibers. And so, yes, this was video is probably about 10 years old by now. But it was very well done. He set up multiple gel.
Oh yeah, I remember some
calibers.
of those old videos. They would do like how far is 9mm lethal at, right? And they'd put a plywood like 700 yards away and like try and punch holes through it.
Yeah, but they do have one specifically for bullet deflection for windshields. It was very well done.
Kim Jong Un for 5 says that sheriff looks like Trench.
Yes, she does.
That's just uncalled for, dog. Thank you, Kim. Kim again says Kase Jama looks like a SIG rep. Yeah, there's he took the ticket. Chud for 2 says any thoughts or experience with the B&T SRBS 762 suppressor? No thoughts, no experience. If I had a thought, it would slide right off my smooth brain. My brain is much more aerodynamic than yours. But no, I mean, reduced back pressure is always fine. 30 caliber cans. Listen, if it's 300 blackout, if it's subsonic 300 blackout, like it's kind of hard to mess up, okay? Get the size, the weight that you want, the durability that you want, the mounting system that you want, reduced back pressure, and I think you're fine. All right. Thank you, Chud. Appreciate you, sir.
You've been doing suppressors a long time, so I'd say they probably got it figured out.
Strapped LB style for 5 says, Focus, you need to stand up with a revolver and say, make my day. Or play Beastie Boys Sabotage. True. You'll be tragically informed to know this, but I'm not wearing pants and I don't own a revolver. Both of those things are true. Just Some Space Cowboy for 5 says, check the early life section on Mr. Spanberger. Will probably explain the actions of his wife. Early life check? No, we're pros here. We don't even need that. This is competitive server, sir. Thank you, Space Cowboy. Appreciate you, sir. Hope you're having a good night. Lightsport for 2 says Tacticon Floyd confirmed. Oh, no, thank you. Thank you, Lightsport. Strapped LB style for 5 says, Focus, WTF, who cares about this? Blast Beastie Boys Sabotage, lol. Yeah, Beastie Boys. They were definitely getting beastly because they were all gay and died of AIDS. Or at least like the main guy did, or something like that. I don't know. I don't pay attention to goy music. John Kristen for 2 says, what junk is 704 Tactical going to shill now? Yeah, that's right. Tacticon goes down, shills most effective. Most affected.
He'll still do his daily Amazon updates.
Yeah. I honestly have not seen 704 Tactical's videos in years. Even pop up in my recommended. I don't know what it is these days.
Well, there's this nifty little feature where you can say do not recommend.
No, yeah, they just don't pop up anymore. I've talked to him a couple times. He seems like a very nice guy. Seems like a very nice guy.
He does in his videos and stuff too. It's just some of the stuff.
It's just, yeah. Strapped LB style says, Focus, Sabotage. That's right. Thank you, Strapped. Prepared Father for 2 Says, I'm just sad Tacticon didn't become my wife's lover.
Maybe she did.
You don't know that?
He did, and she didn't tell you.
You don't know that? Regular guy training for 2 says, I think Tacticon is great. Got a shaft on him. Yeah, buddy. Yeah. Yeah, does he? I don't want to know. But thank you, regular guy training.
He shafted a lot of people, so I'm gonna guess it's probably a good one.
Yeah. No, that's true. Very true. All right, Chips Dubbo for $10 says, good evening, gentlemen. Hope you're all having a great Friday. John 15:4 through 5. My bad, can't read. Abide in me and I in you, as the branch cannot bear fruit of itself unless it abides in the vine, neither can you unless you abide in me. Number 5 is, I am the vine, you are the branches. He who abides in me and I in him bears much fruit. For without me, you can do nothing. Thank you, Chips Dubbo. Great passage. Appreciate that. John is a excellent book to read.
Yeah, 4 doesn't make much sense without 5.
No. Well, they're bifurcated like that.
Yeah.
Amorite Boy for 2 says, they run part of Pepperbox and Corridor Media now. Yeah, they're doing things, you know. They'll continue on to other things in the future. They'll do fine. Call Me Dave for 2 says, FRT or 3-round burst FRT. See, 3-round burst is like only exists because of weird, like, pencil pushing morons kind of being like, we need higher firepower, but we need to conserve ammo for the everyday soldier. So what if we came up with a system that just sucks, like 3-round bursts? So soldiers aren't just wasting all of their ammo, but also you get some additional firepower. And I'm like,
and 3-round burst with memory, which is absolutely awful.
Yeah, it's like maybe the AN-94 that was designed to fire 2 rounds at one time, right? And designed to put 2 rounds on target, right? With the reciprocating system that, like, the recoil mitigating system that it had. But that was designed to fire 2 rounds at a time, which I feel like a 2-round burst is much more doable than a 3-round burst. But even still, just if I want the FRT, I'll do the FRT, okay? I can do it. I'm a big guy. All right. I can control it if I want it. All right. I'm not going to premature FRT or whatever the word there is for it. But yeah, FRT I mean, 3-round burst can be cool, okay? If you're like, oh, I want to build a Beretta and make it like the Raffica from Modern Warfare 2. It's like, okay, that's cool, but not very useful.
I want to talk my buddy into putting a FRT into his Chris Vector.
Sorry, I just noticed that there was a bidding war in the chat. Thank you guys. Strapped LB Style is falling asleep. I'm sorry that my soft, soothing voice is putting you to sleep tonight. Strapped, have a wonderful night. Strapped LB Style for 2 says, your suit looks like legal advice. Please do not take legal advice from this show. Chips Elbow for $20 says, Richard PFP, one-tooth jonkler, please. $20 is insanely generous of you, good sir.
Oh, I've got to go find the one-tooth jonkler.
Okay, we'll go find it real fast, all right? The people require it. I know.
In the meantime, I'm going to play.
Okay, all right. In the meantime, but give him the jonkler. Moonman for $25 says, sorry, Chips. Richard, that thing I made you, which is, oh, that's actually better. I like the Christmas version. The Christmas version is very nice without the gentleman in the background. Thank you, Moonman. Appreciate that. Hope you're having a good night. Hope you're having a good new year. Probably working hard, slapping minorities or something. Strapped LB Style for 2 says, I didn't know they made rash guards in polo style. Hey, watch it. Watch it, Strapped. Chips Dubbo for $100.
Say that shit again. Goofy ass nigga. Fuck you think this is? Ready?
Hang on a second. Let me.
$100 says, I'm sorry, Moonman. I need this, Richard. One-tooth jonkler. Insane, Chips. Absolutely insane. But not to be outdone. Moonman for $109.
Get that ugly, disabled freak away from me. I don't want to look at his fucked up face.
Are you trying to have sex with me?
Says stopped bidding on that Glock 43. Some boomer took it to $5,000. Can't have shit in Detroit. Richard, Chips Dubbo is a fool. Ignore him. That thing I made you. Chips, I feel awful. Absolutely awful that you spent $100 to get outbidden by Moon Man. So for $100, you got
specific.
It's a very specific number, but still. Chips Dubbo, $100 to get like 5 seconds of a PFP, bro?
Well, I will do him a solid, and I will do an entire stream with the one-tooth jongleur next week.
You have to, because it's very funny. Moon Man, put the credit card away, sir. Oh, you mean German G43, not... See, I see G43 and I'm like, Glock. Like, taking a G43 to $5,000. You do you, Moon Man, all right? I'm not going to, train autism,
I didn't
other
even
autism.
think
It's fine.
about that. I just assumed that he was going to pay $5,000 for a Glock because that's Moon Man.
That's Moon Man. Was it gold plated? All right. Jeez. Todd and Dogs for 2 says, Rene Good name Googled on Israel before the event. Yeah, see, I'm not sure if I trust those trends anymore because I think they're manipulated after the fact as like a joke to make it funny, or the time zones don't line up
Time
properly.
zones don't exist. I mean,
Yeah, so that's the thing. I'm like, I don't know if I buy that stuff. Sometimes it's like, okay, that's interesting, but surely if they weren't trying to be obvious, or maybe it is just part of the conspiracy theory. I don't know. But I mean, these types of people are also usually the same types that'll be like, Charlie Kirk was a hologram. I'm like, okay, all right, fair enough.
What?
Thank you. You're insanely generous.
Is there
But you
any-
have to stop.
There are people that are
have to
actually
stop.
serious?
You have to stop. Strapped, thank you for the $2. Still sleeping, but not sleeping anymore because Chips Dubbo drops $200. $200, huh? Says, I'm no Jew. Money is temporary, and I love the streams, especially when I can see them live. Not Jewish? Not Jewish? Dropping $200 on a live stream for a Jongleur PFP? Bro.
I'm kind of retarded.
You know what? That's actually enough for the night. We're just going to end it here. I will see you guys next time. Have a great night.
I am the geek piping sandy cheeks, patty on the slab at the Krusty Krab flip, so the patties don't burn, so the crab.
We'll keep it around for a minute or two. Thank you, Chips Dubbo. Damn. Insane. Stop it. Moon Man's thinking about it right now. Somewhere Moon Man is thinking about it.
Don't do it.
He's thinking about it. He should not. He should not do it. But what would be funny is if he did 271, because that's also another funny number. And now here's the thing, Chips. If Moon Man does $271, that means you have to do 6 million, okay, to complete the trifecta of funny numbers. That's the rules. All right. So if Moon Man does the 270, as soon as I said that, what do you do? Like, your guys are all going to charge back this money, right? You guys are all going to charge back this money. What are you doing?
Why?
Moon Man for $271.
Here you go. It's alphabet soup. I made it special.
Absolutely insane. Says 271 is the best I can do. Honestly, that's the best anyone could do. 271 is the highest number that we could possibly do on this stream. 271 is the best I can do. I'm going to send you something to you, Richard. Moon Man, we should send something to you, okay? I mean, you
I'm
literally just
wondering
paid.
if it's going to be a DDM4 and I'm going to get my marching orders.
Actually,
finally.
yeah, it's like that's the Faustian deal. I'll super chat you 271, but I'm going to need you to pay this school a visit with this package I'm sending you. Okay, it might look like a vest with some wires. It's just some really bad stitching. Okay, and then you have to say, checks notes, Allahu Akbar before blowing yourself up. Oh, okay. For $200, $200 is $200, dude. Nuts, insane, absolutely insane. Thank you, Moon Man. I hope you have a wonderful night. But it's insane to me. It's insane to me that Strapped LB Style, a $200 super chat, is the third highest super chat of the stream.
Yeah.
It's the third highest super chat of the stream. Like, what am I supposed to... All right, you want me to stand up? Well, I can't stand up with headphones on, but let me turn on the tracking here.
No pants on.
I can stand up with no. It'll track me fast. Won't
I
it?
was going to say,
Okay.
make sure it tracks you first.
Well, I mean, it's tracking me right now. Look at me. Look at me. All right. Well, it's tracking. So make my day, punk, and play Beastie Boys Sabotage. I could play like 10 seconds of Sabotage, maybe. Or maybe do I have to have Sabotage playing in the background? Let me see here. Let me see if you can hear this, Richard, before I take my headphones off.
Yes.
Okay, perfect. All right, now I'm gonna stand up and press play. I'm gonna take my headphones off, so I can't hear you, Richard. So don't even say anything. All right.
Make sure it press.
I'll press the play button, but you guys can hear it, so it's good, right?
No, I can't. Not
Choking
now.
on my own. I can stand up. There we go. Look at that. I feel so powerful. All right. I got to point at the camera. I would get a gun, but the gun would kick me off. So here we go. I got to play this.
There we go.
It's playing. All right. Make my day, punk. Is that good? Good. Right? Now, the sad thing is I'm probably going to have to mute the music. Otherwise, it's going to... Otherwise, it's going to copyright the entire stream, which should be a no. All right, I'm back. I can hear you. Strapped, LB Style, you are insane. Nuts, dude. Can you people stop? I should turn off super chats for the rest of the stream so that people stop. Absolutely insane. I do need to say thank you, Strapped, LB Style, Moonman, Chips, Debo. Stop it, but absolutely wonderful. Okay, you guys literally paid for more than my trip to SHOT Show. Okay, so insane. Insane. Chip Stubbo says, you win this time, Moon. Next time will be different. Next time. All right. Polly for 271 says, work will set you free. Thank you, Polly. Appreciate it, sir. Thank you very much. Poops Dynamics. Poop Dynamics for 2 says, engineers for Raytheon ass salaries, these wiggas. I don't know. Okay, so I know what some people do, but some people do have funny money. Like, it might as well be Monopoly money and they just throw it around. Fortunately, some of it gets thrown this way, but damn. Damn. Thank you, Poop. Tondoxer2 says, Charlie Kirk was a hologram. Yes, I love this. Charlie Kirk was a hologram. Renee was a FF. Pat. FF. What is FF? I can prove. You can prove it? You can prove it? All right. Thank you, Ton Dogs. YOLO Bacon Box says, if only focus wasn't 4-9, how funny would that be as if I, for a bit, stood up and then got lower, right? Like even lower, because I'm no longer on a booster in my chair. That would be...
Didn't Charlie do that? Moist Critical? Didn't he do that as a bit once? Like, he
probably. Charlie is very short. I mean,
yeah,
Charlie's like 5'2", okay? Charlie makes me look tall. Thank you, YOLO Bacon. Art Vandalay for 2 says, the temp of the bulbs in your light is psychotic. Actually, no. Only one bulb is even still lit. The other 2 burned out. So I have like other lights up here, but I don't think you guys can see those. But no, that one there, there's only one bulb out of 3 that's even left in that one. If you guys, I mean, I have U-Haul boxes behind me and I've been here for 3 years. Okay. So, maintenance, not my thing. Just Some Space Cowboy for 5 says, you NWAs are going to lose your credit card privileges or at least buy more ammo and mags and batteries. Damn. Chips Double for 5 says, I'm an AK enjoyer in 2025. John, this ain't bad. That's true. I mean, if you're dropping like 3.5 on a Rifle Dynamics, or if you're buying like, you know, old Russian AKs or something, then, you know, couple hundred here, couple hundred there. It kind of just all blurs together at a certain point. But thank you, Chips Double. Insane. Absolutely insane. And you too, Moon Man, of course. All right. Where were we? What was I doing? What was I talking about? Actually, you know what? All those super chats make sense for the type of audience that we have here, Richard. You know why? Because these are the same type of NWAs that will be buying a $6,400 LPVO from Vortex. Now, Vortex was kind enough, go away, cookies, I hate these, to release to the civilian market their AMG 1-10 first focal plane, which I think they got the objective wrong because they claim it's only a 24 millimeter objective, but it's a 34 millimeter main tube. So I think it's actually 28. I mean, come on, the thing is $6,500. You think that they could get the specs right on it? Crazy. All right. But it is the short version of their 1-10. It's the Gen 3. It's actually, they call it the Gen 3. They don't call it the Gen 3, but it's like the Gen 3.5. Now, this has actually been around for a while, just not for the US market, because this has actually been part of the KS1 package for the British military. I know, British, but for the British military, they've had these for a while, but they just haven't been available for widespread civilian purchase for a while. I know some people were, you know, picking them up civilian side as like contract overrun or whatnot, but this is actually going to be offered to the public for a hefty price tag. I mean, let's be real, $6,400 MSRP, absolutely insane. Fortunately, black people hate stocks. That's great. Fortunately, get off my screen. Fortunately, street price, as I've seen, is only $4,000. Okay, so listen, $6,500, insane, right? That's a lot of money for a scope. Okay, it's a lot of money. But realistically, $4,000, much more reasonable. You know, we could stretch to $4,000. Okay, I mean, look at the people in the chat right now. You guys could stretch to $4,000. Child's play. It's chump change. Vortex introduces the AMG 1-10x24 first focal plane rifle scope, born from the standards of elite military units. The Vortex AMG 1-10. Actually, no, I have a voice for this. Let's do it.
All right, there we go. Hype it up. Born from the standards of elite military units, the Vortex AMG 1-10x24 delivers high-powered magnification and optical clarity to compact, short-barreled carbines, leading rail space for thermal attachments, lasers, offset red dots, and backup IRs. British SAS, the Royal Marines, and US SOCOM unit set the baseline for zero retention, optical performance, and extended operational durability. Over the years of testing, Vortex engineers pushed the AMG 1-10x24 against those standards until it exceeded every requirement.
Are you guys sold? Did that help? Did that help? Did that help, guys? Did that help to sell it a little bit? Let's see. So it's neat. You know, it's short. It's not that light, but it is shorter. You know, it's not tiny. Okay. It's got a HD optical system, tool-free zero with reliable return, dual zero turrets, so you can switch from suppressed to unsuppressed. So your turrets, you can set it up with dual zeros, which I think is really interesting. It's a really interesting feature to have. Lightweight, kind of. It's 19 ounces, which is not very light, but it is relatively light for 10x magnification, and 8 inches. That's a little on the big size, all right? I'm a little intimidated. 8 inches? That's pretty big. Dual illumination or illumination dial, 120 degree throw lever, all good. You know, it's neat, okay? On shorty builds, everybody's trying to get shorter and shorter, 11.5s, 12.5s, and so on and so forth. So having a shorter scope so that you can retain usable rail space, like, I get it, all right? I'll even go so far as to say it looks quite charming on this rifle here, okay? You know, as a discerning man, I would much rather have the PLXC personally, because it is a little bit lighter and smaller, and also doesn't cost me $4,000. Cost me around $1,000, a little bit more than $1,000. But you know, for militaries with blank checks funded by me and you, I guess it's appetizing or appealing. Now, I've used the 1-10 Gen 3, which was okay. It's an okay optic. And from what I've heard, these are also like pretty good. Pretty good. Which for an astounding price tag though, right? So the reticle, standard reticle that if you've used the Gen 3 1-10, very similar 1x1 mil grid, I think it's perfectly fine. Translucent center with the diffractive illumination, so it is truly daylight bright. That is one thing about the Vortexes. Theirs are insanely bright. Kind of made in the USA, right? Because not all of the parts are from America, but it's assembled in the US. So it's like some parts from the US, some from overseas, all assembled in the US. So you get a little bit of that. Field of view is good, 116 feet at 1x at 100 yards, 250 yard parallax setting. That's an interesting choice because, of course, no adjustable parallax on these things. So you kind of need to play it. Do you make it look really good up close, or do you make it look really good far away for a 1-10, setting that parallax a little bit further out? Probably a decent compromise, but again, you know, 18 ounces, still not lightweight, but excuse me, still lighter than some options out there. Yeah, dude, it better have a warranty for 6,400 MSRP. It better have a warranty, okay? That's all I'm saying. It better have a warranty for $6,400. I'm sure it'll be fine. I'm sure it'll be fun. Now, heading to the other side of the spectrum, which most of you guys are on, am I right? We have, PSA. You have the mixtape. Now, they're calling this the mixtape volume 2. Which I find quite funny because I believe this was like what they kind of announced and teased originally with the mix, right? Was the 338 ARC. But now they're calling the 338 ARC the volume 2 because, of course, what it first came out with was 300 black when everybody was waiting for 338 ARC. Yeah. Yeah, I think they're just incorrect. I think they're just incorrect. And Art Vandalay says, this is the 4th time you've announced the mixtape. Yeah. Yeah.
This update's on this.
Let me turn it up a little bit so you guys can actually hear it.
Saber Mixtape Volume 2. The Mixtape Volume 2 is chambered in 338 ARC and uses the Saber E4 bolt system. The E4 bolt features an increased bolt diameter, dual ejectors, as well as a tapered lug design. One of the first things that you're going to notice is the new Saber Enhanced iCar receiver set that utilizes Magpul's new iCar magazines. It will feature
now the iCar magazines. Why these are so important, along with the improved bolt, is because 338 ARC, as with all of these whiz-bang gizmos, all of these mid-tier, mid-power rifles, right? They use a much bigger case than the standard 5.56, so you need to use a bigger bolt if you want to actually have durability. And if you want to actually stick these really long, fat bullets into a receiver, well, the mags need to be a little bit wider and maybe a little bit longer, right? So you need to adjust all of the dimensions. You need to massage it all, right, to get it to work properly. And the bolt is very important, so I am glad that they're going with a real updated bolt design, bolt geometry, and barrel extensions as well to get the most durability out of this platform. iCar magazines are a little bit more expensive. They're about $30 to $40 each, right? So you're looking at a generous price increase from like a regular PMag, but they're not ludicrously expensive like a Geissele's ARC bag, right? Where they're $100 or $75 or whatever they are. But you do get the 338 ARC, which is like 300 blackout plus, right? So you get a little bit better subsonic performance, and you get kind of worse supersonic performance because you just, I mean, you get like really big, ugly bullets that don't get a lot of velocity because there's just not that much case for a 338 ARC projectile. It's interesting, you know, it's like, can we make 300 blackout a little bit better? Yes, but we have to change out every single part, and I don't believe the uppers and lowers are compatible with standard mil-spec offerings. Yeah. And it's also like, are you guys really interested in dropping like $1,500? Probably, because again, this is a aftermarket lower, aftermarket upper, totally new bolt geometry, totally new barrel extension geometry. Are you guys interested in dropping probably $1,500 on a Palmetto State Armory novelty gun with ammo that's north of $1 per round? Because I mean, this one here, it comes with the Maxim brace, which is like $200 by itself to make it as much of a dirt squirrel as you can, right? It's like semi-novel, but the round is just like slightly better 300 blackout, and I don't care about 300 blackout. Do we have anybody in the chat that runs 300 blackout like exclusively, and they think that that's the future? Because if you are a 300 blackout believer, then maybe 338 arc for you is just a logical extension of that. Because you'd still retain a AR-15 size platform. You're not going to an AR-10 like you are with 8.6 blackout, right? I don't know. Lag Demon says, nope, I'd save up more for the Q in 8.6. Ah, man, the Q in 8.6. Although for 1,500, how far off are you from just a Q Sugar Weasel or a Honey Badger at that point? Like, probably not that much. Probably not that much.
I think they're like $2,200, aren't they?
Yes, I mean, you're touching Q's territory, which you don't want to be touching Q at any point in time, all right? It's just not a good thing to do.
They'll touch
Don't
you
be
back
touching that
with
guy.
a lawsuit.
Well, Q, no. Well, do they sue people? Has Q sued people, or are they just like, I know Kevin's like a dick, right? That's his whole personality, is being a dick. So
Didn't they sue that guy who cut a can open?
oh, did they? Otter Creek? Did they? Because he's the guy who cut it open, right? That was Otter Creek?
I don't know if it was Otter Creek that cut it open. I think they just shared. Maybe they did cut it open. I'd have to go back and check.
Yeah. Huh. Pooty Danglosaur says if there's 338 arc and 6 arc lowers are interchangeable, that's the only value I'd see. I think they would. I think they'd have that foresight, right? Mum Baby Easter though says I run 300 blackout in 2-gun competition. Why? Why would you do that? It's also my truck gun. Why would you run 300 blackout in a 2-gun? Because I feel like 2-gun can go out to sometimes extended ranges. And like if you're shooting at 300 or 400 yards with 300 blackout, why? Why would you do that over 5.56? That's crazy. Josh is gay posting. Okay, he's horny posting. I've had 300 blacks run through my chamber. That's not, nobody asked for that. Nobody asked, Josh. You supplied that all on your own.
Feature a fully ambi lower, a Maxim CQB brace and buffer system, a Radian Raptor LT charging handle, a stainless steel 1-in-5 twist bead blast barrel, and finished off with a Saber Plan B muzzle device. Now let's talk about where we're at on this project.
See, all that is fine to me. All that is perfectly fine, all right? You got the right lower, you got the right magazines, you got the right bolt, you got a short stock system for your PDW, right? Which to me is like, I would rather not have that, honestly, so I can simplify my buffers and springs. But say, Livy, you got the right muzzle device, you got a barrel with the proper twist. That's all fine, right? The problem is it's 338 arc, and I don't want to shoot 338 arc. What am I supposed to do with that? Like maybe an agency somewhere, again, with like millions of dollars in acquisitional budgets. Maybe for somebody like that, it might make sense. Maybe if you're one of those guys that just jumped on a freighter this morning in the Atlantic or the South Pacific, right? Wherever that tanker was that they took this morning. Maybe for one of those guys, 338 arc makes sense. But for the rest of us, like even if you're like what's a real application, like hunting pigs with it? Like, do you care about a CQB brace for hunting pigs?
I mean, does it even really make sense then for the tanker thing? Like, there's other options.
Theoretically, okay, if you're gonna go, if you want something quiet, right? Because like that's like the thing with a lot of these is like you have the subsonic ammo to approach the objective to get on target, and then you have supersonic when you're on target and you're doing your thing. So it depends. I don't, honestly, it doesn't make sense for that application because I don't even really think they're expecting any issues when they get on the boat, right? Because at that point, I'm pretty sure the crew is not stupid enough to have death by Delta or suicide by Delta or suicide by MSRT or whoever is actually doing the boarding, right? Because it would be suicide. You would just get killed. So I don't think it actually makes sense for that application. But some spooky guy, some spooky organization somewhere is like, no, we love silent moving on to target and then loud on target stuff. So we would love 338 ARC. But for like a civilian us, it's like, I don't know, it's neat. Hog hunting, it's because you get like more energy on target or something. Like, I don't know. Home defense is like, listen, what does 5 rounds of 338 ARC to the chest do that 5.56 doesn't do to the chest? If you, surprise, if you shoot somebody 5 times in the chest, usually they die with rifles. So, yeah. Not sure. Yeah, underwater. Sure.
We're almost finished with our endurance testing on our E4 bolt system. Once that's done, we will send this gun into full production. That's the update on the Mixtape Volume 2. We are going to be releasing videos just like this all the way leading up to SHOT Show. So make sure you follow us on our social media and then head on over to our YouTube channel and subscribe to our YouTube and make sure you click that notify button.
Yeah, see, that's the thing for me is like anytime you're like, oh, well, hog hunting. And I'm like, oh, well, why not 7.62x39 or even 300 Blackout Supersonic is going to do the job, you know?
Or 45 ACP. 2 or more.
I know that's a meme. It's like 9mm, any pistol caliber carbine, even 10mm. I would rather take 300 Blackout, 7.60x39, 338 ARC. I think all of those are kind of just memes. Not that they still can't make it work, but whatever. No, Lightsport, it's the Mixtape Volume 2. Because remember, they released the mixtape, but in 300 Blackout.
After saying they were going to do it in
338 ARC, yeah.
And then everybody was pissed. So then they had to re-release.
See, Strapped LB Style for 5 says, I live in a normal neighborhood. My AR9 is my home defense. WTF are these people talking about so much BS marketing? Like, you can use 9mm for home defense, but like I sleep with a gun next to me, like a handgun, and that's have the same effectiveness as a PCC. So if I ever need a rifle, like I'm grabbing a rifle with a rifle caliber, right, to do rifle things. Well, I mean, also, for me, I'm probably not the average shooter in here, right? So for me, it's like, I'm not worried about it, okay? If there's an intruder and I need to put 6 rounds in his chest in 1.5 seconds, not a problem for me, okay? So whether that's a handgun or a PCC, so I'm very comfortable with a handgun.
Rifle, home defense rifle, suppressor or no suppressor?
Suppressed, yeah, of course. Currently, it's actually it's a Sons of Liberty Gunworks Mark 1.
Really?
Yeah, there's a Roscoe 12.5 in the closet too. So just dealer's choice. All right. Well, that concludes our gun section, unfortunately, rather short. Strapped for 2 says, did both ICE agents this week use the SIG P320 law? That's a good question. Good question. Moonman for 10 says, I am Googling certain images and I see a Medium article called Teeth, Tentacles, and Toxic Femininity. How grotesque anime girls became the face of digital fascism. Horseshoe theory, but for anime. See, that's weird because all of the like right-wing anime stuff is like the cutest stuff imaginable, right? It's not grotesque or gross. It's like, it's like some anime chick posing with like a, an SS uniform or something like that. But it's all just like cute, like normie stuff.
Yeah,
I don't know what they're into.
The one later that's the one that Poland was using. It was a anime cat girl with a black sun tattooed on her elbow.
Oh.
Yeah. I'll have to find it.
Okay. Very interesting. Thank you, Moonman. Sabartic Cycle for 5 says, how does this help me put holes in cardboard and things any better? Yeah, it doesn't do that. And it might be slightly better for hogs in some cases, but I feel like most of you guys in the chat are pretty good at managing hogs to begin with. Thank you, Sabartic. Strapped LB Style for 2 says, now you have to stand up and say, make my day. I did say make my day. I did that. I did both of them at the same time, Strapped. Thank you, Strapped. Son of Mandalore says, ew, British. True. Proper response. Thank you, Son of Mandalore. Strapped LB Style says, you can't control an FRT You have no pants. I can control an FRT regardless of my pants situation, okay? Regardless of my pants situation. Carrie Handle on X says she's focused on my trip till I Richard. True. Hey, thanks everybody hanging out with me on X. Got a few people over there hanging right now. Everybody else on Rumble and YouTube. Thanks everybody for hanging out, chilling with us this evening. Thank you, Carrie Handle. Josh says, keep on dressing like that, John, and I'll let you hit. Well, apparently you've already let 300 black men run through your chamber, so I'm good, dog. Thanks. Got that 1,000 dick stare. Strapped LB Style for 5 says, I live in a normal neighborhood. Oh yeah, we already talked about it. Yes. You can use an AR-9 for home defense, but it's like, I have a handgun. Like, that does the same thing as a PCC for me. So if I will need a rifle for rifle things, like, just grabbing a rifle. Grabbing a rifle with a rifle caliber. Now, speaking about handguns doing handgun things, this is a weird one. This is a tragic one. This is a online radicalization. I heard rumors that O9A was involved with this. I don't know if that's been confirmed as of yet. If somebody wants to update me with that one way or the other, I'm happy to do that. But wacky story. A Wisconsin man has admitted to killing his parents. It's always the people you suspect the most. To steal their money to fund a plot to assassinate President Trump. Nikita Kasel pleaded guilty to intentional homicide in Waukesha County on January 8th. Charges of 2 counts of hiding a corpse, 2 for theft of a movable property, 2 for identity theft, 1 for taking a vehicle without consent, and 1 for intimidating witness with threat of force were dismissed as part of the plea deal. So yes, this 18-year-old man here was sentenced today for the murder of, I believe, his mother and stepfather, or father and stepmother. One of those two. Full article for it here.
What? Oh, wow. Okay. Waukesha. That's Kyle Rittenhouse.
Mm-hmm.
Same.
For years, leftists and Democrats have been encouraging people to kill Trump to protect democracy and stop hate. It has led to deadly shootings of his supporters. Now, that's Andy Neo's take on it. I'm not sure if that's correct, though. I'm not sure if that is accurate. Simply because if he is radicalized by O9A online, I think that it's possible this wasn't like an anti-Trump motive as much as it is just a accelerationist move, right? So O9A is a very dark organization. They have tendrils everywhere. They're, I don't know if satanic's the correct word, but they are accelerationists, right? No value in human life, and whatever can cause the most damage is the best, right? So killing your own parents kind of lines up. Going to kill, not as a like anti-Trump left-wing retard move, but as a accelerationist move, also kind of makes sense to this group if that rumor is confirmed. All right. Teen pleads guilty to killing parents to fund a Trump assassination plot. An 18-year-old accused of killing his parents and stealing their money to fund a plan to assassinate President Donald Trump has admitted to the murders. Nikita Kasep pleaded guilty to 2 counts of first-degree intentional homicide in Waukesha County Circuit Court in the deaths of his stepfather, Donald Mayer, and his mother, Tatiana Kasep, last year. In exchange, prosecutors in Wisconsin dropped 7 other charges, which are the ones that we mentioned before. Each homicide count carries a mandatory life prison sentence. Judge Ralph Ramirez could choose to make Kasep eligible for parole after he serves 20 years on each of his counts when he is sentenced on March 5th. So 18 years old, going to get a minimum of 40 years. A trembling Kasep spoke only to tell Ramirez that he understood what he was doing, answering Ramirez's questions with, "Yes, Your Honor." 18 years old, man. 18 years old. Whether, generic lefty indoctrination, online terror cell indoctrination, what a absolute waste of life. Cassup's attorney, state public defender Joseph Riffledge, left the hearing without talking to reporters. District Attorney Leslie Bose told reporters outside the court that she will push for no parole eligibility. I think very fair. According to a criminal complaint, investigators believe that Cassup shot his stepfather and his mother at their home in the village of Waukesha on or around February 11th. He lived with the decomposing bodies for weeks before fleeing across the country in his father's SUV with $14,000 in cash, jewelry, passports, his stepfather's gun, and the family dog, according to the complaint. He was eventually arrested during a traffic stop in Kansas on February 28th. Federal authorities have accused Cassup of planning his parents' murders, buying a drone and explosives, and sharing his plans with others, including a Russian speaker. And I believe this is where the O9A accusations come in. Hook says all the O9A legitimate members bailed out after the feds did their very public sting on them. One guy took it to court, was revealed most of a O9A were FBI and still are. Well, the FBI is definitely infiltrated most of these groups, right? It's like, you know, Proud Boys or any of these other things. There's always going to be some level of federal informants on the inside. That's just how it works. He was eventually arrested during a traffic stop in Kansas on February 28th. The federal authorities have accused Cassup of planning. Okay, we already read that. The killing of his parents appeared to be an effort to obtain the financial means and autonomy necessary with carrying out his plan. Detectives found several messages on Cassup's cell phone from January 2025 in which Cassup asks how long he will have to hide before he is moved to Ukraine. Okay. An unknown individual responded in Russian. The complaint said, but the document doesn't say what the person told Casp. In another message, Cassup asks, so while in Ukraine, I'll be able to live a normal life, even if it's found out I did it? ? No, you will not. You're a retarded 18-year-old kid radicalized by whoever these people are that you're talking to. The Independent has always had a global perspective, blah, 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 so on and so forth. So yeah, this mystery radicalizer agent, allegedly Russian, not even sure if that's true though, right? Because if this was some sort of Fed plot or Fed plant, the Russia could be a misdirect. It could be to be, oh, lay Russia the heckin' bad guys. Don't you know Russians are the heckin' bad guys? We should like persecute the ROKOR or something like that in the US. Not even sure if that's true or not, but absolutely tragic, terrifying story that these people walk among you and are radicalized, whether again by online weirdos or just generic lefty nonsense. All right. Well, we're skipping these two. Let's get, speaking of federally involved events, how about January 6th? Because it is January 9th. We're coming up on where we just passed another anniversary of course, J6, the biggest terror attack in U.S. history since 9/11. Questions grow as Lieutenant Michael Byrd, you might remember as the shooter on January 6th. He wasn't a protester. He wasn't a quote unquote rioter. He was a Capitol Police guard and responsible for the only direct fatality of the day by shooting Ashley Babbitt from behind a door.
Yeah, there was 2 fatalities of the day. She was killed along with another woman. I can't think of her name. I believe it was Roseanne Boyland, if I'm not mistaken. She was beaten to death by Capitol Police. That one was swept under the rug as an overdose, later as a heart attack.
Okay.
And then they said that the crowd did it, but they actually released footage later that showed she was beaten to death. One of her friends was standing over her body screaming, "Stop, stop, you're killing her." It was brutal. One of the most brutal things I've ever watched.
Anyways, who shot Ashley Babbitt on January 6th operates a taxpayer-funded home daycare. What? Capitol police officer? What a retirement package. Operates a taxpayer-funded home daycare as $190 million in federal child care funds flow to Maryland. That's quite awkward. What a nice house. As a cop? As a DC cop, I guess, but I mean, like, it's a really nice house for a daycare. In one of his last auto pen acts before Joe Biden left office was to pardon Captain Mike Byrd, the DC officer who shot and killed January 6 protester Ashley Babbitt in cold blood during the protests on Capitol Hill on January 6, 2021. Why'd you need to pardon him, Joe? Did he do something wrong, Joe? As TGP's Brian Lupo noted, video evidence captured Byrd shooting an unarmed Babbitt without warning as she attempted to climb through a narrow window near a barricaded entryway to the Speaker of the House's office area in the U.S. Capitol. Following an investigation, Byrd was cleared of any wrongdoing, although questions remained about the escalation to lethal force without attempts to subdue or detain Babbitt. Now, if you guys remember, there was another story floating around that this police officer, our finest, right? Our Capitol's finest here, left his gun once in a bathroom after taking a dump. He lost his firearm to a bathroom, not to an interaction with somebody. He lost his firearm to a bathroom, just left it behind one time.
If I recall the details correctly, it was a Glock 22. So, 40. He rocking that Glock 40.
Same. I do that all the time. Yeah, cops do that a lot. True. All right. But yeah, so actually this falls on the article. Leaving his Glock 22 service weapon in a visitor center's bathroom in February 2019. Burst also had his police powers revoked on several occasions for failing to meet annual firearms qualification standard. Listen, man, if you're failing police qualifications for firearms, like, you probably shouldn't even have a driver's license, dog. You probably shouldn't be allowed to drive. All right. Byrd expressed defiance, blah, blah, blah. I don't really care about any of this. Let's move forward. So on Tuesday, investigative journalist Paul Sperry discovered and posted that former Lieutenant, now Captain Mike Byrd, and his wife, Kaleska Byrd, have operated a home-based daycare called Byrd's Family Daycare from their residence in Brandywine, Maryland since 2008. That's 17 years. Public records and listings on sites like CareLulu confirm the existence of this licensed family care provider operating under Kaleska Byrd's name and located in Brandywine, MD, year-round. The daycare is registered and licensed by the Maryland State Department of Education's Office of Child Care, meeting the basic state requirements for operation. However, it does not appear on Maryland's list of accredited family child care providers, which is a higher level. Now, at the daycare received 109 total. Okay, Maryland. Okay, so we're not sure exactly how much money he's made from this, or if they've ever done anything. There are no reviews for this business that has essentially been around for 17 years. Not a single review. So I would like to know what the actual funding figures are for this place. If this murderous officer is also a scammer, which would honestly kind of check out, right? It would just make sense at this point. Wouldn't be that far off. Wouldn't be the wildest thing that we've read today. All right. Well, I have some other like silly things to get through, but I don't know if any of it's all that important right now. It's a Friday night. Maybe we should just get out of here, Richard, huh? How does that sound?
That's your call, good sir. We have several things, but
We have a couple things. It's fine. I mean, I'm sure some people in here are like, no, keep going because, you're all we have left, John. But no. Yeah, does he have Somali heritage? That's true. Possibly. You never know. Moonman says he's making something. Okay, well, we'll wait then. Okay, we'll wait for Moonman.
Yeah, he is.
Fine. David Asman says, breaking news, Treasury Secretary Bessent announcing tonight from Minnesota. Starting tomorrow, if you're on public assistance, you can't wire money out of this country. Treasury is derailing the gravy train to Somalia. And I actually don't think this is just about Somalia. This is about everywhere. Because since I was working in a freaking grocery store 15 years ago in like 2012, right? 2011. You would have people come in with a brood of children. They'd be usually Mexicans in Washington. And then they would use your, Western money, whatever that credit union is. They would go in there. Yeah, Western Union, and they would just wire money to Mexico like every week. And it's like, I know you're on food stamps. I know you're on this. You use and abuse our welfare system to use more of your finances to send back home, right? You're just Western Union's making out great. Mexico's making out great, but I'm not. I'm like working for $7 an hour at the time, and I'm somehow getting taxed so you can send money to Mexico?
So they might be able to block the wire transfers through major payment process servers, but there's still going to be ways to transfer the money, right? They'll just buy something. Their loved ones back home will just set up shop to sell something, and then they'll buy some non-existent good or NFT or so. They'll figure out a loophole around it. It'll take 2 seconds, but I appreciate the sentiment.
I mean, I also like the idea because you should not be allowed to use any sort of major system to transfer funds out of the country as you're taking funds from the American taxpayer. And I really wish that's how people viewed this. I wish that's how the government viewed this, but of course they don't. It's all funny money. Like nobody actually pushes like, where does the money actually come from? It's like, it's from us, it's from our tax dollars, right? So I feel like we should not be supporting the Mexican economy or the Somalian economy or any of these other places. It should be about us, and the money should stay here. Because at least with welfare, you could argue that like food stamps, at least they, spend the money here in America, right? So it stimulates the American economy. That's one argument. But if instead all the money that they spend on welfare, that they spend on food or whatever else it might be, if they just ship the money that they spent overseas instead, right? Because this ship to savings, essentially. It's like you're not really doing any good and you're not having a net positive. All you're doing is taking from hardworking people and sending it to lowlifes. So if possible, good. If we get rid of all of the incentives for these people, the better. All right. Well, we're going to do a little bit of Reacception then. I saw this and I thought this was very funny. As Islam sort of invades the West to its detriment, you're going to see more and more hilarity. Okay, the headlines are going to get wackier. The people are going to get stranger. The same sort of evangelical harpies that destroyed like Western Protestant churches are going to do the same thing to Islam, and it's very funny to see. Okay, so this is modern Islamic white presenting woman anyways, having some issues with Islam or, its most ardent followers.
Oh no. You know what this is like? It's like in Prometheus whenever they had the aliens get loose. Now the Muslims are gonna have to deal with white women that think that they understand the religion better than they do. A white convert to Islam calls on Muslims around the world to stop being both homophobic and transphobic. As the LGBTQ plus...
You're a Muslim who is transphobic and homophobic. Not only are you contributing to the mass killing of LGBTQ people, you are also contributing to the Muslim...
How's it feel, guys? How's it feel? We've had to deal with this shit for 50 years.
Guys, I think I finally found the weapons of mass destruction.
This is a message for Muslim men. What are you doing talking to women on the internet? What are you doing up in the comment sections haram policing women? Leave women alone.
Yeah, it sucks, right?
That is not of our religion. No one's asking you to be trans, but what you need...
This is like a Somali getting up in Oregon, right? As that man said, and saying... we do not want you here. Okay, let me tell you how Oregon and how your culture and how it includes me, please. It's the exact same thing, but in reverse. You know what? Actually, I lied. It's all based. Okay, we're colonizing Islam. We're sending in the white women. They're going to control Islamic State. We're going to have a white woman-led jihad against the transphobes. Okay, that's what's going to lay heckin' happen, and we'll just let them infight it out or something retarded. I'm not sure.
Need to do and what is obligated of us in Islam is to treat trans people as the human beings that they are. So I'm not going to have any transphobia in my comments, even if y'all are Muslims, even if y'all are other hijabis. I don't care. If your version of Islam is we have to support the genocide of trans people, I don't want it. It's exactly your bigotry that is also contributing to the Muslim genocide and allowing Zionists to pinkwash the Muslim genocides that are happening across the world and to demonize Muslims as these all Muslims are evil, all Muslims are transphobic and homophobic. You know who's not? Oh, us Zionists. That's what y'all are doing. You don't even realize it.
Now I get to watch another other person's culture henpecked to death by white women. Now I get to see it again.
Of religion has to do with being a bigot that gets people killed, not hurting anyone, just being who they are. I don't want any part of it. And keep in mind that in the Quran 2 times it says, to me my religion and to you yours, and there's no compulsion in
She's quoting the Quran at them. Oh my God. I used to pray for times like this.
It's literally haram.
I'm sorry, guys. I'm so sorry for this. We tried our best to stop it. Good luck, guys.
For you to impose your religion and your beliefs on.
Yeah, I feel like she doesn't quite get it, right? She's missing just a few things. Maybe the whole fact that you're even like trying to tell men what to do, it's probably haram. There's probably some verses, some hadiths, all right, that you're not gonna like. Not gonna like all that much, right? Well, see, I'm thinking that this is either like a troll or like some deep cover, or she's like if it's not a troll, I mean, is there a such thing as like a liberal mosque? Is there a liberal imam running around preaching this sort of like LGBTQ nonsense? There's got to be somewhere, right?
Oh,
where
I'm sure
it's
there's one in California and probably one in
because you can find like Catholic churches, right, that are female priests. Of course, they're not actually Catholic, right, because they can't have that sort of thing. But you can find those sort of LGBTQ plus churches around that love this sort of stuff, even though, you know, it goes against the entire religion and by definition makes you not a Catholic at that point. Same thing here with Sharia, with long painted nails and all this other nonsense. Yeah, not so sure about this one. Not so sure about this one.
Other people. No one's asking you to be trans. At the same time, you are also pushing away people who are trans, who are gay, from becoming Muslim. Whether you like it or not, there are LGBTQ.
Yeah, man, I feel like, listen, if you're really, because it feels like her entire ideology hinges upon like be nice to trans people, be nice to gay people, or something like that, right? I feel like Islam, really? That's the religion you picked? Like the worst one for that? Like you should be really into crystals, all right? With your IQ, you should be into crystals or like, I don't know, signs or something really gay. Really gay, all right? Not Islam, not 1300 years of jihad Islam. I don't think it's going to work out for you, lady. Good luck out there.
Muslims who are part of our ummah, they are just as Muslim as you are. And at the end of the day, subhanahu wa ta'ala, Allah. Allah is greatest, Allah knows best, and you need to humble yourself.
Now you guys have to deal with this shit. That hurt? I know. So painful. Oh my God. Oh yeah, get used to this, guys. Get used to it. Karen's teaching it.
I mean, you know, white women imams coming soon, 2026. Strange year. Strange year. Now this is just a work of art, all right? I'm glad that it took you this long to make this. Moon Man, but yeah, this is a good PFP. Richard, did he send you the message? Did he send you the message, Richard?
Yeah,
Is Richard out?
I was trying to. I was in Discord trying to open it up.
Get it. I got you. Yeah. Moonman for 5 says, the deed is done. Look upon my works, ye mighty, and despair. Yeah. We got the Tito pair. We got the disgusting anime girl. We got the Jonkler and the Chad Gassy, the Chad Incredible Gassy with the very nice Chud is poor lol text. Work of art. Thank you very much, Moonman, for this. I'm sure this will be a wonderful PFP for years to come. Justin Space Cowboy for 5 says, European Reconquista when? Europe will probably do it themselves. I don't think we have to worry about Europe. Europe will take care of itself as they've done before. It'll take them some time, but they'll get it done. Thank you, Space Cowboy. Lightsport for 2 says, between me and you, I don't know if it's going to get better. Well, that's the thing, dude. It always gets better. Even if it gets worse, that means it gets better, all right? Because you get to be part of the fight. You get to be part of the world, you know, collapse and rebound, all right? You get to do these things. It's not that you have to, okay? Because you have to, that's like the slave chud mentality, all right? You get to, okay? That should be the slogan for 2026 is you get to, okay? You get to be born in the most fun timeline. You don't get to save the world. You get to fix it. Brick by brick. Thank you, Lightspore. Strat for 5 says, I'm out. Have fun at SHOT Show. Focus. I bought you a few beers. Cheers, brother. Cheers to you, good sir. Well, I will put that money to good use. Thank you very much. You are insanely generous. I will see you next time, Strapped. Amrite Boy for 2 says, the Wisconsin wasn't me. It's pronounced Waukesha. My apologies. Although you wrote it Waukesha. So is it Waukesha or Waukesha? Pretty sure it's Waukesha. Thank you, Amrite Boy. Appreciate you, sir. Islamic culture is sick and gay. True. True.
Well, there is some good news coming out of the Islamic culture after you get done.
No, I already had this pulled up, Richard. I was ahead of you, man.
You did.
Lee Hendo says you got to have Old Sterling on your show. Who is Old Sterling? I'm not familiar with that. Old Sterling says he's a chud, got a YouTube channel. I'll hit him with a follow and I'll reach out or something. I don't know. Thank you, man. Appreciate it.
The person named Sterling I knew was a black dude. And
yeah, but
I got
it's
in a fight.
We've had this discussion before over on Redoubt, but no, Islam does, no matter what Vatican II says, Muslims do not worship the same God as Christians. Allah is the great deceiver, according to Islam. That's not our God, okay? I think in the Christian context, if you're the great deceiver, I think you have a different name. That's just me, though. Let's see here. So yeah, look at this headline. Okay, this is a 2026 headline for you. Okay, breaking: the UAE, the United Arab Emirates, announces it will cut funds for citizens who want to study in the UK out of fear of Emirati students being radicalized by the Muslim Brotherhood Islamists on British campuses. Like, the conquest of Britain is in full swing. It's just if the people are going to do something about it before it gets too late. But a sovereign nation, a sovereign Muslim nation saying, you know what? We're not going to fund our students going to Britain because they might be too radical over in Britain because of what they've allowed to happen on their college campuses and on their indoctrination centers, right? What a wild headline. Wow. Wild. Yeah.
The UK has fallen, and even the UAE knows it.
Yeah, I just think that's not. Now, I don't know. We'll show this. Why not? Why not? I feel like the people who have the weirdest perspective on Islam are Jews, and I'm not sure why they say this. I think this is just probably a whacking hecky coincidence, okay? The Jewish Messiah will only appear once Europe and Christianity is totally destroyed. So I ask you, is it good news that Islam invades Europe? It's excellent news. Islam is the broom of Israel. This is Rabbi David Tucci. Now, as to the response, if this is a correct response, you ask Grok, of course. Yes, the quote is attributed to Rabbi Rav David Tatoué. It appears to be authentic. It stems from a 2013 lecture in French where he describes Islam as Israel's broom to sweep away Christianity in Europe, tying it to a messianic prophecy verified through multiple video sources and transcripts. So, yeah, I mean, according to some rabbis, I'm not sure why they have this weird tie and relationship to Islam. If you go really down the conspiracy theory and how the Quran copy and paste some verses straight from the Talmud, right? I mean, the conspiracy theory goes so far as to say that Jews actually started Islam as a counter to Christianity, and that's why they have some interesting similarities and why Muslims occasionally look very positively upon Jewish communities, calling them people of the book and people that you have to respect, right, within the Quran. So I find this, it's just interesting, right? What a wacky coincidence here that these people consider Islam invading the West, taking over the West, to be a good thing, and how a lot of them end up in positions of power and advocate for Muslim immigration to places like the US and Western Europe, of course. It's just strange that it seems to work out for them because, of course, for their Messiah to appear, Christianity needs to be defeated because, which in a way is correct. However, their Messiah is the Antichrist in Christianity, right?
So
Not
you're saying Hamas wasn't their first run?
Yeah. Kodiak has a wild statement. The Catholics and Islam were hand in hand in the beginning. They were aligned. What are you talking about? The Muslims, from their inception in the 7th century to 3 centuries later, had taken over most of the Christian lands in the Middle East, right? Then you have the
only
first
think of
century.
one thing that they
Sorry,
had
you
in
have-
common. Oh, the I forget what the actual term for it is in Islam, but the boy love.
Oh, I mean, that's whenever somebody talks about Catholics and pedophiles, it's just go away, normie. It's just silly news. It's like the public school system has 100 times more pedophiles than the Catholic Church ever does. So, I mean, it's just nonsense. Catholic slander is not appreciated around here, even though I myself am not even a Catholic, right? But I think that's just a silly nonsense vector. But no, I mean, the Catholics literally instituted a crusade in 1088, 1089 to retake the Holy Land from Muslims after 400 years roughly of Muslim aggression. So you might be able to find an instance where they were aligned in a certain matter, but certainly not overall. That would be wacky. That's a wacky claim to make. Very strange claim.
Yeah, it's the first time I've ever heard that.
Here's a good one, though. We are rapidly approaching, some people don't like the term late stage capitalism. I don't know what you're going to call it, okay? But we are approaching mega cities, okay? Corporate run mega cities. Costco is building apartments above its stores to address affordable housing crisis. Now, somebody sent me this meme and I was like, there's no way this is true. This is like Idiocracy meets Judge Dredd, right? You have mega cities based off of corporations where the people living here are essentially entrapped and can only buy from the store. They're like plugged into the store as some sort of like biological sustainment matter, right? Because they make money and then all the money funds the housing, which goes to the corporation, and then the food and the accessories and the appliances and all that, which also goes to the corporation.
This looks like
However-
it was a Babylon Bee headline from 5 years ago.
But it's a real thing though. It's like you get to pick your mega city that you got to live in, all right? And it's the corporations set all the rents and everything else. So it's like it's the libertarian dream. No governments involved, just corporations running everything. Costco is building apartment complexes above their stores. This new initiative, starting with an 800 unit development in Los Angeles, this is not going to go well. Represents a new intersection of retail and residential space that could revolutionize how we think about affordable housing and mixed-use development as cities across America grapple with housing shortages and an affordability crisis. This innovative approach might just provide a blueprint for the future. This is hell. This is a hellscape. Now, this is not a real image, okay? But this is a hellscape. This is like worse than the Soviet Union could have ever dreamed of. This is a hellscape. All right. And especially if it's for low income, this is a terrifying place to live and exist. As we just continue to cram more and more people into America in tighter and tighter places to live like bugs and animals in these hive cities, like we just need to remove 80 million people from the country, and then this housing crisis magically disappears. Pretty simple. As cities across America grapple with housing shortages, so the key project, 800 total residential units, 184 units designed for low-income households, ground floor Costco warehouse, scheduled groundbreaking in early 2025, so I don't think that's happened yet. $1,000 per month for qualified low-income residents. So this is where the Somali hive will live in LA. We're going to have 184 units, which will be dominated by the Hood Classics, by the light bulbs, by all of the other low-income people who love to live off of taxpayer-funded housing, right on top of Costco. Who benefits? Costco. They collect rent and all of the food and everything else.
I don't
Nice.
see how they figure $1,050 a month is low income rent.
In LA, for an apartment, that's insanely low. Yeah, you might find me low income, but you'll never find me low income. True. The first development in Baldwin Village, South Los Angeles, is set to break ground in early 2025. Pioneering and engineer. Sorry, excuse me. Getting tired. This pioneering project, known as the 5035 Coliseum Project, represents a shift in how we approach urban development and affordable housing solutions. The development will encompass 800 residential units, with 184 of those for low income, for people earning $41,610 or less per year. Yeah, so it's just it sounds nice, and they try to make it look really nice in these like art designs, and it's like, oh, it's just a housing complex on top of a Costco. But to me, I think of mega cities from like Judge Dredd or something like this. This is a nightmare scenario waiting to happen. You have one of them and it's like, oh, that's unique, that's so interesting. Look how efficient we can live together, right, in these tight compact spaces. And then you just mega size this and you get a hive of scum and villainy in a place where they're already not enforcing all of the laws when it comes to theft and other things. I don't even know how Costco could think this is a good idea. I mean, like, you're going to have your own eviction teams. You're going to have store security is going to have to go through the roof. I mean, if the police aren't going to enforce theft from your own tenants who are living with you and you can't evict them because of the city, these places are just going to become hellholes so fast.
I just don't see how they're going to be able to pull 1,050 unless literally everything is included and they get a discount. Like if their Costco membership.
Oh yeah, it comes with a free membership, right?
Yeah, and parking and there's going to have to be a lot included in that because I'm looking at other homes right now.
Well, so imagine if we've had this sort of thing before in a way, right? So I kind of look at this as like a 1950s coal mining town where the coal mining operation owns all of the stores and all of the housing and everything else, and you have to buy everything from the company.
Fordlandia, essentially.
Yeah, well, and think about this as well, but what if we just did this concept but everywhere? So all the industrial districts on top of all the warehouses, we had all the living spaces, all of the everything else, right? Because we're running out of space. We've got to build up. We've got to condense and control all of the humans in a much smaller area, which I think that these sort of housing developments are in general much easier to control large groups of people. Like, how do we, we don't want people owning land and being away from each other and having independence. We want you all bottled up in big population centers where you're easier to control, manipulate, and do all this other fun stuff with you, right? So I feel like this concept exemplified over the next 50 years is a horrifying future to look at, right? It makes 27 Cyberpunk look like a joke.
Yeah, I think there was a series about this maybe on Amazon or Hulu or something where different sections of the country were owned by different corporations. A big section of the country was owned by Amazon and they ran the government de facto. Another portion was owned by Walmart. It was sectioned off into like 4 or 5 quadrants and they were all at war with each other. I can't remember what the name of that series was called now. It wasn't horrible for like a B-rated series, but
I mean, the concept has been done before, right? In books and media and things like that for a long time. But the idea of 2026, again, it's one of those years, all right? It's a bad precedent. I really dislike it. I think the ideal American experience is not this hive city mentality. It is like rolling plains, farmland, your own place, right? The American homesteader, a farmland, enough area to have a house, to raise a family, to live your own life. And this sort of like, this is for bug people. This isn't for Americans. This is to house bug people and third worlders, not Americans. Gross. Mr. President, a plane has hit a Costco tower. That's true. Imagine the Costco Defense Force. CDF here to enforce Costco border. Amrite Boy for 2 says, Pranka and Vinning show? We Spurgs would love it. If I could get him on, that would be wild, dude. I might be able to. Maybe I'll send him a message. How about that? Thank you, Amrite Boy. Appreciate you, sir. Just Some Space Cowboy for 2 says, 1 Timothy 2:12, the 19th, with truly a mistake. I'm pretty sure. I don't have it pulled up. But I'm pretty sure that was the one where I suffer not a woman to speak or have authority over a man. And that is, of course, from St. Paul. Yes, I do not permit a woman to teach or to assume authority over a man. She must be quiet. Feminists seething right there, dude. They're crashing out right now. You quote Bible at them, dude? What are you doing? Thank you, Space Cowboy. Appreciate you, sir. Poop Dynamics for 5 says there is significantly more child abuse among the Southern Baptist Convention than there is in the Catholic Church. Also not Catholic. Again, you could be correct about that. I don't have the numbers for the Southern Baptist Convention versus the Catholic Church, but yeah, also not a Catholic.
I was just trying to make a joke about the one thing that they have in common.
Well, right, but saying that like Muslims who are all pedophiles and defend pedophiles are the same as Catholics, that's a non sequitur
No,
joke.
I didn't say that they were the same. I just said that they only had one
Well, you
thing
said
in
have it
common.
in common. It's like, well, no. You actually worship somebody who had sex with a 9-year-old, right? And says that it's okay to have sex with people as young as 3 or 6 years old in special cases, right? Explicitly, that's all right within Islam, right? Versus like Catholics who it's like, oh, you have a couple of bad priests or cardinals here or there. It's like, it's a non sequitur, right? Kim Jong-un, thick girl enjoyer for 5, says Minneapolis police chief and city police chased out of downtown. Is that breaking news? Is this something wacky happening? I could agree. I can see it happening. Thank you, Kim Jong. Appreciate you, sir. Lightsport for 2 says, I personally would have fun in a hive. Well, you would want to be in the enforcement arm, all right? See, half you people are like, Judge Dredd cities, the mega cities, that sounds awful. And then they like rub their chins a little bit and they're like, I wonder if the enforcers are hiring, though. You know, maybe this hellscape is actually the ideal world to let out my darker.
Imagine if you had Korean Thumb as a neighbor in your hot Costco hive.
Well, that's the thing. The people who own land and farms, those will only be reserved for like rich people that eat real food, that don't eat the bugs, that live in like a real home. Those will be like only the top 1%. Everybody else will be condensed into hive cities.
Like Bill Gates buying up all of the farmland and the beef and then trying to push fake vegetable burgers on people.
Yeah, we have
Beyond Meat.
problems. We have problems with some of these people that are also somehow in the Epstein list. Lightspore, rape Sonny to death or kill all Troons in this case, over on Ko-Fi says, if I see another NWA using Philippinks, I'm going to give Kash Patel a press conference. All right. Philippinks, is that a slur for Philippinks people? Can we just call you Pinks? Although, wait, Pinks is a slur that black people use against whites, right? They call us Pinks.
Yes. And I don't think calling them pinks is accurate.
No. Black people hate stocks, says Vortex accidentally added a 6 and a comma. Yeah, you know, $6,500 here, $6,500 there. It's just a little bit of cash. Lena Mitchell's North Starfish says, damn, those freedom dividends must have hit. Happy New Year's, John and Richard. Happy New Year's to you, Lena. Appreciate you very much, sir, even though your name is Lena.
So weird.
It's a strange person, all right? It's a little bit weird. Moonman for 2 says, I will be Costco's Judge Dredd's strongest goon. All right, Moonman. All right. Appreciate it. Late Sport for 2 says, Sevatar says, I am vengeance. Or the AA Sevatar says, I am vengeance. Thank you, Lightspore. Appreciate you guys. Are you guys excited to live in the hive cities, to eat the bugs? Are you guys excited for that? Nah. Yeah, I know, Jake. You missed it all.
It was wild.
Or could have had it all. Too bad. It was absolutely insane. You guys are nuts. Well, hey, okay, now that is actually it. Okay, we're getting out of here. Enjoy the rest of your Friday nights, gents. Richard, what do you got going on, homie?
Tomorrow I've got a video coming out on that wacky ported upper receiver from Donovan Manufacturing. YouTube finally decided that it was okay to post.
Yeah,
for
they
whatever reason.
were not liking that.
Well, did you check the timestamps where they were saying no? You
No,
can't
I never
do
did.
this? It was exactly where you were saying no, YouTube, don't kill me.
Oh.
Like to a T, it was no, don't kill me, nope. And it was literally not showing nothing. So dumb. But yep, that's coming out tomorrow. So if you guys would go watch, subscribe, thumbs up, comment, it's all free. It really helps us out. So
Absolutely. I just dropped the link in the chat. Let me go ahead and drop the link for Focus Craft, our Discord server. All right. So you guys can go follow us there if you so desire. Not sure why you would, but you definitely can. Oops. If I can find my way over there. But with all that out of the way, gentlemen, yesterday I had a nice little range today. I put about 950 rounds down through a couple guns. Sons of Liberty Gunworks Mark 1. Had a couple issues here and there. Little wacky, you know, maybe it doesn't like certain magazines. I don't think that's super cool, but especially for a $3,200 gun. But more will be coming. SHOT Show is soon. I am sure that the flood of news is upon us. But with all that out of the way, gentlemen, thank you so much for being so generous, for hanging out. Christ is King. God bless, and have a good night, gents.